Hello and welcome back to another show by Gravy on Narratives. Today we have some news. So the United States and Israel are widening their attacks on Iran, hitting infrastructure in and around the capital as Washington ramp up pressure on Tehran and the conflict spreads across the region. Iranian state media said a US fighter jet was shot down on Friday over central Iran and the US military launched a search and rescue operation in the area. Meanwhile, US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth abruptly fired the US Army's top general and two other senior officers, prompting speculation of a wartime leadership shakeup. In other news, Iran intend to classify countries as hostile, neutral, or friendly. Hostile countries will not be allowed passage through the Strait of Hormuz. Neutral countries will need to pay a fee. This represents a change in the status. And also, Iran rejected 48-hour ceasefire proposal from the US. It's been confirmed by the Fars News Agency. Um, till now, in this whole war, 276 people have been killed in Iran and 26,500 have been wounded. And yeah, so that's the overall thing for today. Also, Lebanon have been firing rocket. I mean, Hezbollah, of course, have been firing rockets at Israel as Israel goes to annex the southern Lebanon area, and mm, Yemen Houthis are also joining the war, and they might block the commercial strait on their side, and that's actually also a big a big problem for the U.S. right now. Shaji.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope everyone's fine and well. Uh, so I think we should begin with the uh, fighter jets going down. I think that is the most interesting aspect because the kind of excuses which are coming that it's not a big deal. First, they were trying to deny it. Now, two of them have gone down. I think this, with coupled with how Trump has been basically saying that Iran has been completely dismantled. This is completely incorrect now, and people are beginning to ask these questions. Where is this war headed? Do we have any clear targets? Are there going to be any off ramps in this entire situation? Another in so I'm going to go to Junaid with that. In terms of fighter jets coming down, how do you view this? Do you think this is significant? What's your opinion on that?
Thank you very much. It's very significant. I think that Iranian defense system is still intact. They perhaps Russia has helped them or China, uh, S-400 or something like that. They have shot down fighter jet F-15. It is a very state of an art aircraft. It is very only few times it has been shot down, and now we have seen in this war uh, almost five jets have already been shot down by Iran, and Iranian Air Force doesn't have any capacity. If we look at their paper, they have F-4 Phantoms and very old Soviet era jets, but somehow they are shooting down their very heavy aircrafts. One F-35 is also shot down. So this is very significant, and it will move to another escalation ladder because Trump wants Iran to complete surrender, to surrender completely, and he wants to show his people that he totally dominates this war. But so far, if we look at the numbers and if we look at the resistance, at least the period and the difference of gap between Iran and US, this war should have been completed within 1 week, but now it extends more than 40 days. And now Iran is shooting down their very uh, technical, very advanced aircrafts. So this is very significant. I think this war is not going to end very soon, and it will continue. I don't know, for another uh, month or 2 months or maybe long. So maybe we will see a ground operation very soon, because Trump now will go all after uh, Iran, and we will have to see what will he do after 5th of this month, because he has given uh, the timeline to Iran to agree on his terms. But I don't think that Iran will agree, because new leadership is much more conservative than previous one, because he is young, and you know that Ayatollah Khamenei was very old, and uh, if we look at what Ayatollah Khamenei was doing, that he normally wants little bit, very soft man he was. He he doesn't want to involve in war. He was always agreed on peace terms. He wants peace. He wanted peace, but US eliminated him in the hope that Iranian leadership will collapse. But under new leadership, they have shown their restraint, and they have shown their courage, and Trump is astonished, and he is actually shocked that what is happening in this war. That's why he has fired his top army general. I hope I answer your question.
Yes, thank you very much. So there's another interesting aspect. When I was listening to the coverage, there's a lot of excuses coming from a lot of experts. When they're talking about the shooting down, they're basically coming up with, okay, so we've destroyed the infrastructure, but these are handheld missiles which are being used to basically take these down. It's a fluke. First, they were ignoring it. So Sid, how do you see this? You've heard what Junaid said. What's your opinion on that?
No, no.
Well,
The
my opinions, especially in regards to the recent planes being shot down, is that makes, at least according to the Iranian claims, that they have overall shot down 10 American allied aircrafts, including American owned ones, and of course, some owned by their allies. That's rather uh, insulting, more than it is financially debilitating to America, because let's be real, America has more fighter airplanes than the whole of NATO. I believe their total capacity of warplanes is above 4,000 warplanes, if I'm not wrong. Maybe I'm not, I don't exactly have the exact figures, but it's round about plus or minus that. So it has more to do with the insult than the injury. Uh, and not to forget that one of the pilots, has been captured, or so does Iran claim. Uh, if Iran, just like how we did with Abhinandan, uh, and gave him a cup of tea, uh, I don't know what they drink over there in Iran. Maybe they should offer that particular pilot some of that. Uh, Maybe coffee is what they drink over there. So a cup of coffee to the pilot, make a video out of it. That would really shatter the morale. And it would not just shatter the morale, uh, it would be debilitatingly insulting towards the American hegemony, not just merely the military, in the civilian and in the public perception. And let's hope that the pilot that they captured is in a healthy condition, just like Abhinandan was. Uh, that would be more insulting towards the American war machine, because their basic claim was that we have become invincible. The whole thing about the F 35 was that it is not only invisible, it is invincible. What Iran has shot down is not merely a singular warjet or two warjets in this case, it is the invincibility of the imperial American aircraft hegemony. And I think that is a much deeper wound than the financial cost of two warplanes. Uh, I hope that the pilot of that downed aircraft, I think the aircraft that was down was a F-15 uh, and an A-10 Warthog, and I don't know the pilot of which. It is assumed that the pilot of the F-15 is the one that has been captured. I don't know the exact detail. Maybe actually nobody does. Iran will have to come up with the pilot for that detail to be, uh, you know, in truth or falseness. But if he is in healthy condition and they treat the pilot as an officer should be, I believe that would be a much deeper wound to the American hegemony. And I think Iran should do that if they do claim that they have arrested one of the pilots. Uh, that's
I
my
don't
take on it.
think I
Yeah.
don't think they've arrested him yet. One was rescued by the U.S. There were two crew member in that plane. One was arrested, and one is still on the run. So I don't think have they found them, Shah?
No, no, they
No,
haven't.
no, they haven't found them.
No.
Yeah, I think it's a big blow to the whole air supremacy uh, narrative of the US, because it's not just the first plane. Three F-15s were taken down by Kuwait in a friendly fire situation. Another KC-135 Strato tanker refueling aircraft also crashed in Iraq, and the six crew members were killed. And also, there's news for another Hawk chopper, I guess, which is also being taken down. So I think yeah. So I think all this is kind of, the more US is going into this war, the more it's kind of destroying their narrative. And Iran is, I mean, Iran have been really pragmatic about this whole situation, unlike us, which is like Pete Hegseth just fired three big generals in the US Army. One is chief of army staff, and another two other generals who were basically not agreeing with them, I guess, and they wanted someone who would stay in line with Donald Trump. So I think this whole war situation is kind of unraveling the American superpower narrative.
That's interesting. I saw Junaid's mic open and quickly closed. Did you want to add something, Junaid?
Yes, I think that F-18 was also shot down, and it was 1 week before I read the news on credible. Mario, I think his Twitter handle reported that. So add that also. I think also one very important aspect, that in Pakistan India war, lot of talk was made about Chinese technology, and now once again we are watching this war, and news, we are listening that many very advanced American aircrafts, F-15E, it is the latest 4.5 generation jet, has been shot down. So it is a big news, big news. And you know that India was hiding Rafale news, and now US is covering up that story that Kuwait has shot down three F-15s and one F-18 or something like that, and F-35 was damaged badly, and there was a sudden fire in Abraham Lincoln air carrier, and now we have seen that one helicopter is shot down, and F-15 once again was in the news. So we have to talk about that Chinese technology is proving superior to the Western technology. This is another very important aspect because Iran doesn't have its own capability, and we all know that Chinese satellites, they are very have very good technology, and they shared with Pakistan that Pakistan was pinpointing the location of Indian army positions, and same is the case with in this war, that Iran is pinpointing the locations in Gulf countries where U.S. army is operating, or Israel was given some kind of sport. So this is also very, we have to talk about that this also. So what's your opinion on that?
Sid?
I would actually want to expand on the total losses. I did a quick search on an AI and I asked it how many total uh, aircrafts have been downed in the recent wars. And I think the AI has kind of maybe went into a delusion or something because it is saying that 35 aircrafts of America and Israel have been damaged. Uh, Now, I don't want to confirm it. I'm just telling you what I'm reading on an
I,
AI
I think
prompt.
I think they're damaged. There are reports of damaged aircraft, and F-35 was also damaged. But you can't really call it like taken down. They must be just damaged, and of course that's possible because Iranian are shooting missiles and drones at them.
And necessarily, this number is not in regards to Iran doing it. It can be various reasons.
No, because
Yeah, maybe
that
Kuwait took them down.
I think
actually, Kuwait
they,
did take three of the
Yeah, we don't
F-15.
know if it was 3 or 13.
No, no, no. Because a total of four F-15E in total have been
Why don't you share the
incapacitated.
screen over here and like we can go
Oh
through?
yeah, I would. I was being hesitant because I'm not actually sure if this
Yeah, well, at least it
prompt
won't
has
be
even.
your claim if you show it. So
Yeah, I'll share the screen
I also think that maybe
with
some
the panel.
aircrafts were damaged during Iran when Iran was firing missiles on the uh, American bases. So
Oh yes,
there is
they
some,
are included in that. So
yes,
this was
not
the
on military
prompt.
ground, when they are just landed here, or when they were just stationary, and then they fire, and then missile hits, and like
Yeah.
what happened last year in Israel.
Okay, so here is the count. Uh, F-15E strike eagles, 4 lost. 3 were lost in a high-profile friendly fire incident over Kuwait earlier in the war. So, Kuwait, our brethren Islamic country, has helped the Iranian brothers by shooting down at least 3 15E strike eagles. So, kudos
So
to
there,
Kuwait.
there are contradicting statements in regards to these three planes as well, because earlier some Iranians were basically claiming it's them who've done it, but the Americans said it was friendly fire, and then the Kuwaitis basically agreed with the with that. So
I mean, I don't know what is more insulting that it went down in a friendly fire or if the Iranians shot it down over Kuwait. Both are, I guess, equally shameful. But one was shot down over Western Iran on April 3rd. Uh, After that, there are MQ-9 Reaper drones. These are drones, so that's part of the ongoing conflict. one 8 and Thunderbolt. It is confirmed down in the Persian Gulf on April 3rd while providing cover for F-15E rescue mission. So they lost an F-15 and then they lost an A-10. But A-10 is actually not classified as a fighter plane, so I guess that's why it was not included. They have destroyed two AWACS. Now, AWACS are very expensive, so that has got to hurt. One was completely destroyed on the ground by an Iranian missile strike at Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. A second was damaged in a separate strike, according to this prompt. Stratotankers, eight of them have been impacted. So basically, they are not usable anymore, I guess. At least two were completely destroyed, and six sustained varying degrees of damage. They have damaged one F-35 Lightning, where that is like the toppest of the top, the invincibility of the American air supremacy, and two Black Hawks have been damaged. There are also Israeli aircraft losses, which is, I don't know what this plane is. They have lost eight of those. A Heron, they have lost eight of those. It's a surveillance drone, so I guess it doesn't count. So yeah, Israel is just using drones, I guess. So that is the count as of yet.
That seems to be interesting, but yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, I guess as of right now, it's going to be debilitating to Trump. And actually, as you saw, Israel was basically just using drones, and it's weird how the actual war is supposed to be between Israel and Iran, and Israel is basically just using America at this point to fight their war, and America is bearing the loss. I mean, what is Israel losing? Drones? If it was not for the Iranian
No,
missiles, Israel would
Israel
have no losses at all.
Israel have used their air force in Iran, but that's all. Actually, in Israel is, will not also not be participating in the ground incursion because apparently there it was in the news that Israel is having personnel problem. They don't have enough people, and their people are dying every day in Lebanon. So they've opened war on two fronts, and there's also news of Syrian groups announcing jihad against Israel after that Palestinian death sentence in Israeli government. So I think, personally, I think Israel is in big trouble. Like they started, like you started already started a war with Iran, and now you're starting this situation with Lebanon, and if Syria gets in as well. But the thing is that, and then it takes you back into the past, that even in the past Israel was attacked by multiple Arab countries, and it still won. So I don't know. Maybe in with Iran it might be different, but US has been asking for a 48-hour ceasefire, and Iran is not agreeing. It's not giving it any space to regroup or do anything about it. And I think at this point US is just getting desperate. For the best decision for US would be to just, I mean, they've already claimed that they've destroyed the infrastructure and everything, but I guess you cannot manage a big ego. So if ground incursion started in the Hard Island, then I think it would be impossible for US to ever come out of it, because then that would be just the next level.
Actually, I'm just rather amazed at the request, I would say, at this point of a 48-hour ceasefire. I mean, what audacity! If you want to end the hostilities, what is the meaning for requesting a 48-hour ceasefire? Why would Iran or actually anyone do that? They are requesting the enemy for a like timeout, so that they can regroup and attack them? What do they think that they're
Ex-
doing? Is this a playground?
yes, that's what exactly Trump has been doing in his second term. He stopped the war between Iran and Israel because Israel was getting hits, and we were watching live those scenes, and Israel lost many of its civilians and soldiers in that war. And then Trump said that I just stopped the war between Israel and Iran, and then he started negotiations with Iran, and Iran was negotiating with them. And when the agreement was very near to reach, Israel actually attacked Iran, and Mossad was working very effectively in Iran, and that's why in first 2 days we have seen that Iran lost much of its leadership. But after consolidation period, when Israel and US, they achieved, yes, they achieved air superiority over the airspace of the Iran. But after that, when I think that they somehow they just saved their some assets, and they were successful in that, and somehow they are getting help from other countries now. Now they are involving in, and now they are providing weapons that are necessary to at least sustain this current war. And if this war continues, and then US will have a lot of cost, because economy is getting uh, it is weird, and we know that Gulf countries are putting pressure on Trump that you must at least go all after Iran, or just stop here. But now it is very difficult for Trump. If he stop here, if he stops here, then his voters, and then his all personality charisma that he is having, that he can do anything. He is announcing every day that he has won the war, and every after his tweet, Iran just fire another barrage of missiles on Israel and Gulf countries, and we are watching. And when Trump just tweeted that all of 99% capability of Iran has gone to fire missile, they just fired yesterday heaviest amount of missiles and drones towards the Israel yesterday. So I think Trump is in difficult condition, but he will take another decision, and he will take another escalation ladder, and he will move forward, and he will attack Iran with something like that. I think he will drop some more bombs on Iran, heavy weaponry he will use, and he will target their infrastructure of water and other facilities. And then he will send boots on ground to seize that uranium, so so that he can claim a quick victory, and then he can pull off, and he will say that I have, you see, I have taken all that uranium, now I am getting out. But when the boots on ground will come, we cannot say sure, because it is not Venezuela, it is not Iraq, it is Iran. And we know that heavy resistance so far we have seen, uh, it will be on next level. I think that US will lose many soldiers, and then maybe we see that Trump will resign or something like that. So let's hope the war doesn't continue, everything cool down, and status quo prevail. But it is very difficult to say that uh, this this will end, because I think that uh, as far I see the Trump personality, he will go to another level, and we will see this in next 48 hours, especially if if we confirm the loss of one pilot, then he will go to another level, and things will be much difficult for the whole region and for Pakistan especially, because Iran then will target Saudi Arabia, and I hope it will not target, but if it targets, then Pakistan maybe at some point have to come, symbolically at least, to save Saudi Arabia, because we have defense pact with it.
Right. I just want to ask a question. What is the significance of the pilot being caught? Like, if Iran catches the pilot, how is that going to affect the situation?
A lot. I think it will have a lot of effect if we if we remember the that whole scenario of Abhinandan. India was very embarrassed, and they just planned next operation that their all aircrafts will not cross the border or line of control. So they remain in within the boundaries of India, and then they fired the missiles. They didn't come to Pakistan space, but Pakistan used long range missiles to shoot the, I think, PL-15, and that was the game changer. And four or five Rafales were shot down. Uh, and now, if they capture one pilot, it will be a big drama, and Trump will not be in position to defend his act, and there will be a lot of pressure of U.S. public on Trump to announce ceasefire or something like that, so that the life of the pilot be saved. That's why Iran has announced that they will pay a billion of their local currency to the
Big
person
reward.
who will.
I don't think amount haven't been mentioned, but they've mentioned a big reward.
Yes, big reward. Yes, they have announced the big reward that if anyone caught the pilot, a whole Iranian nation, then anyone, any person, then they will give him a big reward and all of media coverage and something like that. And then US will hesitate to attack and bomb Iran, because it knows that where is that pilot? It is sitting right where they are dropping bombs. So I think they will they then just stop bombing Iran. So let's hope that they capture a pilot alive. But if they have captured a pilot, then I think time has come that they should show it, but they haven't captured. That's why we haven't see so far the pictures of the pilot. If you know that Pakistan, when Pakistan captured Abhinandan, it is just 25 or 30 minutes, within 30 minutes, that the photos of the Abhinandan were viral, and all that stuff. Indians were shouting, and we all on Twitter and Facebook, we are chasing the Indians with Abhinandan pictures and videos. So, but they haven't. We haven't seen any kind of video or picture of American pilot.
Okay, so I would like to add on to that. I think the impact, if the pilot is to be caught, I think that can basically, rather than de-escalation, it can cause an immediate escalation, because that would become a very embarrassing situation, and that's not the point where US will have any options to just simply turn back and negotiate. It will show them to be extremely weak, and there would be serious kind of political and military pressure upon them. And from Iran's perspective, obviously, I think Junaid's compared it very well with the Pakistani situation when Abhinandan was basically caught and how he was displayed. The Iranians will show him off. Uh, they'll basically take advantage of the entire situation. And I think that will also provide Iran with some leverage in terms of negotiations when they occur, because in that case, they'll have a hostage. I don't think they're going to be returning him very quickly if that was the case. On top of that, I think there is a figure which they've basically announced that's about £50,000 and approximately $60,000. I think that equates to. Samaya, welcome to the show. Go ahead. Do you have anything?
Um, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So I just joined your show, and probably um I caught up with the discussion that there's um uh, somebody was discussing about the plane shot inside Iran. So I
Yes.
want to know, please, they've been bombing Iran for such a long time now. I don't know what sort of jets they have been using, F-35 or B-2 bombers, B-1. I don't know the details of, neither do I want to get into that detail. But they might be using F-15 also, right? So why this is the first time that Iranian have shot the planes? I mean, if they could have done it, why didn't they do it for a month, around almost a month? And only now they are, I think it's been more than a month now. It's been more than a month.
28 days. I think 28, 29 days. You're correct.
I
Almost.
think it was started on 28th of February, probably. And
35 days. It's been 35 days of the war.
yes, yes, more than. Then I'm just wondering why they decided to shoot these planes now, and they've been hitting everywhere else, and their focus was not defending the territory within Iraq. And what has made them shift their focus that they've been hitting the jets?
I
Somebody's getting sick in Iraq. Yeah.
so Samaya, Sid earlier brought it up. They've since this war began, they've lost round about 35 planes, give and take. But this is the first time it's in a situation where the pilots have basically gone missing, and they've had to rescue one. So I think it's a matter of acceptance as well in this entire situation. There was a situation when a few of them were blamed on the Kuwaiti friendly fire and whatnot, but again, the pilots had evacuated at that period of time. So I think the only reason why United States accepted that these two planes have been shot down is simply because the pilots went missing, and there was a case of the crew and the pilots who they could not deny, because there was a high risk, and there's still a high risk of the people missing at this moment in time, that the Iranians might capture them. And again, the debris of these planes have basically been made public. So I think it's a situation of events in those regards, and the other planes which they shot down were probably outside of the territory of
But the other
Iran
planes
itself.
are not that many. I mean, and the other planes, possibly Iran themselves didn't claim those planes. I mean, if you uh, got to be kidding me, then I mean, what was the need of Iran? Did not They did not claim those planes, whereas I mean,
Oh, there have been
they-
contradicting reports. Some of those planes Iran claimed, and they were completely denied by the US.
Iran. The thing is that when Pakistan, when we went for the shooting the planes, we had a complete data to back that up. because we shot them, and then it became pretty evident and difficult for India to deny it. I mean, although initially they did, but we went on with our claims, and we just made it very clear. We just didn't just hit their planes, but we rather we like we went all in, and we gave the international media and everybody a proof of what we were claiming, that we have shot the planes. But Iran didn't go through, I mean, they didn't really mm, followed it up. I mean, didn't really
I
pursue
don't
once
think
was
they have
that.
the capacity. Yeah, because maybe I'm wrong, but as of now, the uh, let's say the rumors, or is the proper word for it, or the information is that they are basically using IR missile and the IR technology, that is heat-seeking technology, to down these planes, which is actually a rather crude way for aiming at something uh, with sophistication levels that are that high. Uh, I don't know if Iran actually has the facilities of radars and locking them down in that capacity, because the missiles that they're using to down these planes are actually heat seeking missiles, and they are only able to down them whenever they are basically whenever their pilots make a little bit of a mistake, or if there's a bit of an opening where they have a heat signature. So I guess one of the reasonings would be is that they don't actually have those facilities. The second reasoning would probably be that they actually don't have the luxury of having press conferences like Pakistan did. I mean, the spokesperson of what's it called? What's the name of the spokesperson of
Aurangzeb.
IRGC?
Oh no,
Aurangzeb. Yeah,
that's a different guy. Yeah, no,
yeah,
Aurangzeb was our guy. It's the IRGC, I think.
yeah.
Abdul,
I'm forgetting his name. He's that guy, the with the who is the spokesperson of the Central Command. Uh, he does, or basically his messages are put online. There's not actually a press briefing sort of thing. They are doing it uh, in places where they can, actually survive. They're hiding because of the reach of the American Air Force. So I believe that is majority of the reason why they're not conducting such media briefings. And even if they could, I am not sure if they have the capability to give the radar signatures and the call sign signatures and the audio signatures. I mean, they definitely would not have any capability of giving audio relays of those planes. So I think that is the reason. I mean, Pakistan, as much as we are called a third world country, when it comes to our air force, we are extremely advanced.
one takeaway from all of
I
this.
think I think the main reason for that is that they're still in an ongoing war, and I don't think they get enough time to set up all those press conferences and everything. I think most of the situation we'll find out once the war ends, because even those aircrafts that they've damaged, U.S. do not accept it. They're like, oh, it was friendly fire, or the one who which crashed in Iraq, they said we don't know the reason, but it was not about by Iran. So they're trying to salvage their image as much as possible. But I
But
think the
to be
we'll
honest,
find.
Anand, yeah, but to be honest, I personally believe that it is when the war is going on, it is the most, is this kind of, information um, control is extremely important if while the war is going on. After the war, I mean, it's just anybody's call to say anything. But the narrative is set when the stage is on. going
I think
during
the
this.
narrative is based more on giving videos of how their missiles are hitting Israel because they know that actually gets them more sympathy from the world. I mean, I
Yes,
think
sympathy,
Iran's.
and yeah, that's what I'm saying. That there are so many fronts on which Iran literally is absent. And one takeaway I would like to say, one more thing is that for me, the takeaway from this war is that defending i- a defensive posture, though people would say that no, the Iranian strategy is much more productive. I would say the Pakistani strategy as compared with Iranian one is that effective defense actually is what sets the pace of a war. And that's actually really what we did in 2019 also. Because we captured a pilot, and that was a big thing to defeat the enemy and not to let them take the next step. Because if you capture a serving person from uh, assailant army means that you have really up unset their nerves to take a further action. And furthermore, one more advantage of capturing the enemy's soldiers or boots or the people who attack like enemies assailant the assailant enemies is that you can use them then to negotiate and stop the war because you have literal assets, real assets in your hand, and then you can threaten that this is a real thing that I believe that people are not focusing on. And if I would really want to stop the war, and I would really want to guarantee that, let's suppose, US would not attack Iranian lands again. I would capture a lot of soldiers. You know, I would just, especially the pilots. And
Okay, I would like to add something to what you said, Samaya. The thing is, first of all, I think there's a huge difference between the war between India and US attacking a country. So I don't really think they're comparable. Secondly, the war between Pakistan and India was something which was not full fledged in this way. Then number three, if you look at it, international media is not really present within Iran. So I think Pakistan would be incorrectly put in that position in terms of comparison to Iran at this moment in time, because Pakistan has never been tested to the same level as Iran is being tested, or on a previous occasion, Afghanistan or Iraq have been tested, and God forbid, I hope it doesn't get tested ever in the future as well, because you've got the state of the art technology from the entire region being give and take, providing you with air bases, and you're being struck down. It's a very different situation from a third world country, like India, basically attacking another neighboring country.
but
With,
isn't it, Shaji, sorry, I would stop you here. Isn't it in itself a defeatist approach to go to a war that while you're fighting an international power, a superpower, so called, you also have enemies in the region and you have not prepared enough that you solve your matters with the regional, with your neighbors, so that they don't support your enemies when you get it. So
So
if
I would say to that, that would you would be absolutely correct if Afghanistan had gone and attacked the USA, if Iraq had gone attacked the USA, but or in this case Iran would have gone and attacked the USA. When it's just like in a playground, when a bunch of bullies come and attack one child, if he's punched in the face, he's left with no choice but to defend himself. That's how it is.
I'm not
It's
saying
not
that.
exactly like
I didn't
Iran
say
when
that.
US or Israel, is it?
I didn't say that. I mean to
If you
say
allow
that
me, if you allow me to
yes,
comment on uh, sister's
yes, please
comments.
go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. I think first you asked that why Iran didn't shut down any airplane in last 35 days. Now why not? I think that's a very good question. But if you look at the numbers, Iran actually tried and it got success, but rejected by the US because these airplanes, these aircrafts were shot down outside Iranian airspace. So that's why US keep saying that Iran wasn't successful, but it was fault on our side. But now this is the first time that one of the very advanced aircraft, F-15E, it was shot down in Iranian space, and their two pilots were missing, and one pilot was rescued, but another one and is still missing. And I think that there is also another aspect that how they rescue that pilot. I think that's we haven't talked on that subject also, because it shows that Mossad has very strong presence in the Iran, and it has very deep rooted. And as far as your second question is concerned, or your, I think your analysis regarding Pakistan India war, and you are comparing this with the Iran America war, I think China has clearly said that it will support Pakistan at any cost, and China has given Pakistan much more support than it has given to Iran. I think Russia is given perhaps the support more to Iran than China. Maybe this is the case. Maybe they have got now the advanced anti-aircraft guns like S-400 or something like that. They have got the batteries or something like that, that they shot down F-15 or but the fact is that US has accepted that. Now US has, if US has accepted that it is shot down by Iran, then we have to say that Iran has something that can shot down 4.5 generation aircraft, and it is very advanced aircraft. We know that, we all know that it is battle tested, and it is much more competent and more advanced than Rafale, I think, because F-15 has a very good record. I think before this war, 100 by 120 by 0, it has the record. After this war, they lost just four
Rafael has the
aircraft.
same record, I think so. It has the same record until Pakistan hit it.
But F-15 is considered more, F-15E especially, it is considered more competent and more,
Yes, I agree, but
advanced.
my question stays that Iran's focus is all on offense. What if Iran has prepared well for defense as well?
Yes, we
Because
have to agree that. I
yeah,
think
I
because
would
I agree
actually like
with you in this
I
matter,
would actually like to
that
step in
Iran
here.
has got very strong air force as compared to Pakistan, and it is actually a domain. Actually, perhaps what is the correct word used by Aurangzeb, that he integrated. Pakistan has integrated not only its air force, but also satellites and war, electronic warfare, and that's why Pakistan has got edge, and Pakistan air force is much more advanced than Iranian Air Force. But Iran has very effective rocket force, and we saw its importance that still after 35 or 36 days, Iran rocket force is in place, and it is damaging uh, it is damaging the other and countries like Israel, uh, Qatar, or especially UAE. UAE has got much more hits than Israel. I don't know why. I don't think that why they are attacking more on UAE than Israel, but somehow UAE has lost much of its billion dollars in this war, and it is the most affected party in this whole scenario. So yes, US has clear air superiority in Iran, but now we will see what will happen in next 2 days. These are very important. If Iran has been provided some effective and lethal anti-aircraft system, then we will see, we will hear more more news like shot down of F-15, and another aspect that B-2 cannot be shot. So far no country has technology that it can shoot down B-2 stealth bomber. So US still has the power to drop bombs on Iran on regular basis. That's why he cannot hold press conference freely, like Pakistan has the liberty. And Pakistan was doing press conference. DGISPR Ahmad Sharif, he came out many times during 3 day period, and he came and he showed that we have total control of our airspaces, but Iran hasn't control that. But now we will see what will happen in next 48 hours. These are crucial.
Also, we have to take into consideration that air offense and air defense are completely different things. Uh, as actually has been shown by Israel when it comes to, it has been shown by Iran when it comes to the air defense of Israel. Uh, it's not the same kind of technology. It's not the same kind of investment, and it's not the same kind of infrastructure. Uh, Actually, I think that if Iran had made their better plans in terms of air defense, they would actually not even have the sufficient amount of finances or the technology to, or the infrastructure actually, because air defense is heavily reliant on satellite technology and the new radar capabilities. And even if they did so, actually, considering the level of technological advancement that America has, I don't think that they would actually have been able to make their infrastructure uh, in terms of air defense. The only thing that is somewhat closer to the capability of defending against American aircrafts and American technology would be Chinese technology, and that too would have to be the top tier Chinese anti-aircraft technology, and it would be extremely expensive actually, and not sufficient because, well, we have to understand the amount of aircraft and aircraft arsenal that America has and how much it just gives to Israel. Air defense in that scenario would actually be moot. So I think the battle strategy that Iran made out in regards to, investing more in terms of rocketry, that they would overwhelm the air defense of Israel. Uh, I I think that was a right decision because I guess what they saw was that they cannot defend because of the gap, because of the sheer uh, difference in the magnitude of capabilities. So the only way that they could actually have a defense would be to actually have an offense. The old tactical saying that the best defense is a good offense. I think they took that approach.
I personally have to add one more thing to it, and then I would finish my argument. I do not agree with this statement. Why? Because what Pakistan did on the night of 7th of May, I call that defense. I don't talk about the type of defense that Israel employs, which is David Sling or which is Iron Dome, many others, right? I talk about that. In that defense, Pakistan is also not, I mean, in that invested. But what I'm talking about is defense against airplane attack, not the missile attack. So once I mean, you really let the airplanes or the fighter jets hit you, you give them almost with certainty um, a chance to take out whatever they want to take out. I mean, if they want to take out your leadership, they can do it. If they want to take out your missile factory, they would do it. If they want to take out your nuclear plant, they can also do it. So if they want to take out your oil facilities, they also can do it. I mean, if they can do whatever they want to do because they have the aerial dominance on you. So I mean, if you think that you are a rival of Israel, let's forget about US. Israel has F-35, right? They may not have B-1, B-2, or B, I don't know, more Bs US have. But let's suppose Iran is a declared enemy of Israel and Israel wants to attack Iran because Israel has been threatening Iran for such a long time. But I think Iran was invested more into its proxies and it thought that as far as it can stop Israel around its border, Israel will not attack Iran, in which Iran was right to speculate, but then its proxies were taken out one after the other. And then that investment didn't help as compared to what Pakistan has invested in integrated uh, way of fighting the aircraft battle. So I think if this first day there would have been an aerial battle on the skies of Iran while somebody came to take out uh, uh, their leadership, I think this whole thing would have set up differently. But
Sumaya,
I don't
uh,
really have that.
I
Yes,
would
sir.
like
I just
to.
want to comment on that, sir. Sorry,
Uh,
please let me
oh,
speak.
okay, go ahead.
I just uh, don't ignore the Pakistan capabilities regarding Pakistan has very good intelligence agency, and we see that a lot of people criticize it, but the reality is that Pakistan premier agency is very good in tackling Mossad and RAW, and Mossad is very uh, successful in Iran and in also in Lebanon. If you see that how they eliminated and they murdered the previous Hezbollah leader, and how they successfully uh, eliminated almost all the leadership of the Iran and their scientists. So this cannot be possible only with aircraft technology, but it also requires the intelligence agency also. So if what I think that you are saying right, that Iran has invested heavily in proxies, but it has also not invested heavily in its intelligence agencies, and it somehow Israel or Mossad has deep roots in Iranian society. I don't think why this has happened, but this is the reality. Second thing is, even if we look at that, Iran has invested heavily in its proxies, then they have fought some not wanted wars or not necessary wars, like in Syria or in some other places where they are fighting. I don't think that why I don't know that why it was necessary in last 15 years. That previously we saw that in previous in 2005 Hezbollah and Israel war, all Arab media and all Pakistani media and everybody was supporting Hezbollah, but that was not the case after in last Israel and Hezbollah war. Why? Because Hezbollah was not very successful in defending Lebanon last time in 2000, I think 24 or 2023, if I am correct. Why? Because Hezbollah has lost lot of its personnel during the Syria war, during the Iraq war, and and also IRGC has lost many of its personnel, many of its very good men during those battles. And when time comes against very heavy equipped Israel, they just don't have the necessary manpower. That's why Bashar al-Assad falls. We saw that, and we saw that axis of resistance is very weak as compared to it was before 2 or 3 years back. And Iran also delayed tactical and very important decisions, I think, and that's why it had to pay the price. And Israel used that period, and United States used that period of peace to attack Iran and eliminate all of its leadership. But having said that, I think where Iran is successful, it knows that it has only 6 or 8 months, and it invested its heavily on its rocket force. It knows that if its rockets penetrate into Iron Dome and in Israel, then Israel will come into onto its knees. But now it's the battle of survival, and I think many of your points are right, but we cannot ignore the resilience and the effectiveness of the Iranian lead nation, that it has shown during last 35 days, even though they have lost much of its leadership, much of its assets, but still they are on ground, and they are somehow resisting US, the hyperpower. I am not saying that it is a superpower. It is a hyperpower. If you look at the numbers as compared to Soviet Union or US 20 years back, so still it is competing with US and Israel, which is a world power. So it's great. I think we have to appreciate that also.
Yeah, and I would like to add something to that entire context, and then Samaya can basically respond to that, and we can then go to Azam. The thing is, post 1979, what you'll realize is that Iran's air force and engine development of various aircrafts and defense thing was basically crippled. And if you're going to compare that to Pakistan, you have to understand neither has Pakistan ever been tested, and I hope it never gets tested against a power like the US. The only countries who can talk about that resilience or that kind of a situation are basically the Iraqis or Afghans, or we'll have to go to the Second World War, where basically Japan and basically Germany can basically boast about that in those terms, and we all know how all of these countries fared. Compared to that, with all those sanctions, if even if you want to compare it to Pakistan, Pakistan was not able to build its air defense mechanisms or anything without the help of the Chinese. And if you look at the Iranians in the last 30 years, they did reach out to the Iranians just like the Pakistanis did. They reached out to the Russians as well on occasions, but obviously because they were under serious sanctions, nobody paid any heed in those regards. Pakistan is lucky in that way. If you look at the JF-17, the engine is Russian, the technology is Pakistani as well as the Chinese. Even if you look at the Chinese defense, and Indian development is a weak point for even them. They even have to rely on a lot of Russian technology when it comes to Indian development. So when you keep all these things in mind, a country in sanctions is only going to be able to develop what is available to them in those regards. So so far, if we're going to compare that to how Pakistan basically reacted to India, that's a very unfair comparison, in my opinion, because India is neither that strong as US happens to be, and neither is it anywhere near the entire pressure and influence in the global community as United States happens to be. So yes, we're proud of what Pakistan has done. We're proud of our defense, but even I would go as far as saying even the Chinese have not been tested to the same extreme. They've never been attacked as yet. It's only the Russians who can, apart from like for example Iraq and Afghanistan in recent times, Russians probably come close in terms of directly dealing with that kind of warfare, but even that is kind of indirect in a way. So I completely do not see a comparison between Pakistan and India war and Iran and the US stroke Israel war. I don't think it's fair to compare those two situations at all. Uh, with that, if you have something to say, Sumaya, go ahead. Then we're going to go to Azam, and then Madara's here too. No, I guess Azam. Azam, you have to unmute yourself to speak, my brother. Okay, Sumaya's back.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry,
Please.
I just pressed the wrong button, and I just
That's
instead
fine.
of
It happens. It's
my mic, I went out of the whole chat room. So no, I still don't agree because Pakistan was tested, and it was tested for 20 years when not just US but the entire NATO forces were in Afghanistan, and many of the generals, US generals. However, I will also give further brownie points to Pakistani generals and politicians because we did not choose to fight US on their strong pitch. You know, we brought them to a lower scale, and then we fought them with with a war of attrition. We let them come to Afghanistan because they said the same things to us that has been, uh, you know, verbally announced by Pete Hegseth that uh, Stone
no,
Age.
but Samaya, what part are you not agreeing with?
Yes, I'm
When
not agreeing. I'm not giving Iran the bravado because there are so
no,
many
but
failures.
my question is, when has Pakistan actually been attacked
Well,
by the?
I may just let me explain. I'm explaining. The same tone that Pete Hegseth used yesterday for Iran was used 25 years ago, 24 years ago, in some roundabout years against Pakistan. Yeah, by the then whatever, by the president of US. Yeah, either on our side or to the Stone Age.
Samaya,
Yeah,
I guess my main question would be if
and
Pakistan
then what
was.
we had a
Hold on,
multi.
Pakistan never went to war with United States.
Yes, but why we because we
So
understood.
you're saying diplomacy, but
Yes,
my
we no,
point
we did not. No,
my
what?
point is
Let me
something else.
finish my point. Let me finish
Yeah,
my
yeah, go ahead.
point. You said that, and then we understood our capabilities, and we brought them. We let them come to Afghanistan. We had paid a very big price of them being in Afghanistan, and this was not just U.S. This was U.S. at its might. This was a US against which neither Russia or China wanted to even say anything officially. And this was a US which brought the entire NATO, including Turkey, UK, everybody. Yeah. It brought the entire NATO inside Afghanistan. And let me quote General Hamid Go, what he said. He said, Pakistan is the only country in the world which has fought US with its own money, with US's money and capability, and has defeated US. This he said somewhere, when the exit from Afghanistan was planned. So what we understood our situation more rationally, on which President Musharraf has been attacked many times that he compromised and he bent over backwards, and he, did not choose to fight US. We were given the same option, but
No,
we
no,
said no.
Samaya, there's a difference in what you're basically saying. Pakistan, in all due respect, has never been forced into a position. It's always had a choice in terms to make its decisions. In case of
No,
in case of
no,
Iran,
no. Just
hold on,
okay. Let me explain. Let me explain further. Let me explain the guilt further.
no,
Okay.
let me just complete my
Yeah. No,
sentence, and
just
then you
because
carry
you
on.
have interrupted me,
No,
because
we're
I
just
would not
having
be
a
able to
conversation. It's not.
explain my point. You can speak for 10 minutes, but I
No,
have
I
to
don't need
finish
to
my
speak for 10
to,
minutes, but you
to
go ahead.
yeah, okay. You can say whatever you have to say for 10 minutes because if I don't say now, then I would not be able to complete my argument. And then the thing that Pakistan, at the right time, it did not negotiate with anyone, though India became the cause of us doing the atomic, explosion and declaring ourselves. We did not negotiate on our capability of acquiring the nuclear weapons. Why? One reason was 1971. Okay. The other reason could be the USSR's attack on Afghanistan. Yeah. And the USSR's ability to show this sabotage in our neighborhood. So our generals rightly did not negotiate neither in 1998 or 1990, whenever we did the atomic, So that gave us that ability to get the choice to say yes or no. Yeah. Which Iran did never want to acquire. Iran, though even helped by Pakistan, yeah, in acquisition of that atomic ability, it never had the stomach or the gumption to go ahead and to pay the price what Pakistanis paid. And this is not correct that we were never sanctioned. We were heavily sanctioned when we were acquiring the nuclear capability and when we openly declared that we will acquire the nuclear. We tested in 1998, despite all the bribes and all the, threats and everything, and then the
Samaya,
sanctions.
Samaya, number one, Pakistan has never been in similar sanctions as North Korea and Iran. It is a given fact, and there's no disagreement.
Why North Korea is atomic
Now,
power and Iran is not?
can I please complete what I'm saying? Thank you. So the reason why North Korea can do that is because they have very close relations with China, and they share a border with China, and they've always been like on their side in that way. In Iran's case, it developed its relations much later. Number two, the point is when you keep comparing it with Pakistan, Pakistan has had different situations. Unlike Afghanistan, Iraq, or Iran now, or even in case of Vietnam in the 70s, uh, it's never been the center of that direct attack. It's always been on the border, and that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Pakistan letting America come into Afghanistan is very different from Pakistan. If tomorrow America decided to say that we're going to come into Pakistan, is very different. I'm sure Pakistan would react very differently in regards to that. In case of Iran, they went into Iran, at least through air. It's a direct attack. The only country who's directly attacked Pakistan since its conception is India. It's not a superpower like the United States, or it's never even been Russia. So my point over here is you might have issues in how basically Iran was ill prepared for its defense and everything else. But having said that, it is a factual thing that only people who can basically claim a direct attack in terms of interventions and extreme sanctions are either North Korea and the second one is Iran. And in terms of direct attack, the only countries who would have a valid argument if they had fared well would be either Iraq or Afghanistan. Apart from that, nobody on earth, no country on earth, this is the third country. And if you want to include Vietnam, that is fine.
Vietnam.
That this
You're repeating
the
your point,
hold
Shah.
on, I did not interrupt you. So
You're
I don't
repeating.
want to speak for 10 minutes.
Just saying what you already said.
So we're having a conversation. It's not an
I mean,
argument,
if
right?
you can refute my points
Okay,
or not.
I haven't refuted. I don't need to refute your argument because I'm not arguing with you. I'm
You are
giving.
arguing, dear
Can
John.
I please complete? If you please allow me to complete, it would be.
You can complete, but you answer my points.
I have answered your question. I can prove that with facts. You want me to put those things up?
Yes, why not? What's the
Okay,
problem with doing that?
I'll put those things up. Just give me 2 minutes. Sid, are you there? Sid,
Yes,
yeah.
I'm here. What do you
Sid,
want me to take out?
uh, to begin with, can you basically do a comparison between the sanctions imposed and extremity of sanctions imposed on Iran compared to Pakistan, please? Can you bring that
But
up?
why those extremities were
No,
Just
no.
give me a
imposed?
second.
Let's dissect what you said. Maybe you're right. I'm wrong. Let's check.
That's what I'm asking. First of all, answer me the sanctions, and then why the sanctions were imposed this way.
No, first we're going to dissect it properly. That's what we're here for, right?
Yes.
And
Let's start
secondly,
from
okay, you need
1979.
to, Samaya, you need to get one thing out of your head that we're here to prove you wrong or prove you right. We're here to
No, I'm
learn.
just asking questions.
Yeah, yeah. So we're going to check those now. We've got a disagreement, and we're going to go through all those things, and you can uh, uh, basically Sid is going to do that. Ask him all the questions. He's going to bring up the information. Let's check it out, right? Let's clarify this rather than just arguing.
No, I'm just asking. I've asked you a few questions.
Okay, Sid, first of all, compare the sanctions
Can
between.
you read it? Can you read it?
Sid, go ahead now.
Yes, yes, of course, I can read it. Okay, so the difference between the sanctions between Iran and Pakistan is the legal status, first and foremost. The comprehensive sanctions designated as state sponsor of terrorism since 1984, that is for Iran. No comprehensive sanctions recognized as a sovereign partner with strategic cooperation. So basically, Iran does not have any legal status when it comes to USA or its allies, whereas Pakistan is considered to be a regional ally of USA and Europe. Banking and SWIFT total decoupling. Iran's banks are banned from SWIFT system. Direct transactions with US banks are illegal. Complete integration in terms of Pakistan. Pakistani banks are part of the global SWIFT network and conduct regular trade with the US and, of course, its European counterparts as well. Trade limitations, near total embargo. uh, Iran, it is illegal for US persons to trade almost any goods, especially oil and gas, and this, of course, extends to Europe. preferential trade. Oh, we do have preferential trade. I did not know that. The U.S. is one of Pakistan's largest export markets. Huh. I thought it would have been
So,
some
why
other
these
thing.
sanctions were imposed on Iran?
Go ahead, check
Oh,
that.
they did not want to. Actually, everybody knows that they did not want to share their oil. Basically, they wanted to control over their own resources.
After I think after Khomeini
Muhammad
inqilab,
Mogadishu.
after
It
after
was after the
revolution,
fall of Muhammad.
after revolution, they they
1 minute. Did that happen in 1953 or
uh,
1971?
if you allow me just 2 minutes, I just want to comment on something that have been discussed. If you allow me, because if you, after this, okay, after this
No, no,
difference.
go ahead, Junaid. Feel free. Everyone's going to speak in that. Go ahead. Carry on.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. I think that some points of Samaya are valid, but some points are invalid. Uh, I think that as far as Pakistan is concerned, Pakistan has a blessing that Soviet Union attacked Afghanistan right in that period when Pakistan was in dire need of developing nuclear weapon. So Pakistan developed that nuclear weapon, and that's why now it is very difficult for any power to attack on Pakistan. And Pakistan had Dr. Abdul Qadir Khan, who worked day and night, and they developed, they tested cold weapon in 1984, and he announced in 1988 in that famous interview that Pakistan had a nuclear bomb. That's why there is no open war with India after 1971. Even though Pakistan captured Kargil Heights in 1998, but Pakistan and India both refrained to declare war against each other. Uh, Pakistan, I think, has more blessings and more opportunities uh, to develop its nuclear arsenal as well as its air capability. I think Pakistan has also got sanctions as far as Pakistan was denied F-16s in uh, after Pressler Termeem, Pressler Amendment, I think, if I correctly
Yes,
remember.
yes, yes.
Yes, and Pakistan decided that Pakistan will indigenously develop aircraft in 1998, and that's why Pakistan took its time, and it took almost 15 years that Pakistan developed first JF-17 Block 1 fighters that we had. Now we have
And
Block
and and
3.
and, and that part I, Junaid, agree with. And the fact is that Pakistan was not able to do that without the help of China. If you and China was not able to do that without the help of Russian engines. So in
Sir, what
Iran's
are you
case,
saying? Sir, what are you
but
saying that
hold on, I'm
that
going to
was
add a
blessing?
fact to this. So Iranians also tried doing that, but China refused. So there was a development plan coming in the near future, but first the Iranians were refused by the Chinese because of the international sanctions in 1998, then in 2010, and now they had struck a deal which was referred to as the deal of the century, which was economically going to develop Iran in various ways and whatnot, and that hasn't come through yet. But you guys carry on. The next questions
Okay,
here.
one more thing, Shadi, I want to correct is that thank you for putting out this info, but sanctions were first imposed, and this is not for oil, by the way, Sid, so you stand corrected here. Sanctions were first imposed on Iran by the United States in November 1979, following the Tehran hostage crisis. Following the Tehran hostage crisis. These additional measures
No, no,
included
let's search this further, right?
these. I've searched it and I'm reading it from.
No,
Um,
then share it like we have with the
yes,
actual
okay.
source. Please,
Yeah,
please go
okay.
ahead. And
So
I'll
these
also get.
initial, yes, let me speak
I've
now.
already
Let me.
shared it
These
on her behalf.
initial
I will let you
measures
proceed.
included freezing 12 billion in assets and a trade embargo. Sanctions have been maintained, expanded, or reimposed periodically since notably in 1987. So this was not about oil.
I
1995,
did
not
not. This is a recorded show. I did not say oil. Sid said oil.
Sid said. Yes,
Yes. So
and that's why.
when you say I stand
Yeah.
corrected, not Sid.
Okay. No, no, not you,
And
not you. Sid.
I would also like to add that Sid is not entirely wrong, because later on the oil embargo prices at the time of Shah, that's when the
Well, let
first.
me read. Shah was before this regime. Okay, so it's 1979 and 1981 initial U.S. sanctions due to hostage crisis. Then came 1984 sanctions. Iran was designated a state sponsor of terrorism, triggering further sanctions.
Mm.
1995 to 1996 expansion of sanctions to include trade and investments in Iran and oil. Only in 1996 the oil and gas um investments only sanctions came in 1996. 2006 to 2015 UN Council sanctions and European Union also eh, got included in 2006, not from the beginning. So significantly expanding sanctions over Iran's nuclear program that came between 2006 and 2015. 2016 and 2018 JCPO, I mean negotiations and talks that happened, and 2018 to 2026 again the reimposition and expansion of those sanctions, which included the financial sector. So from the very beginning, these sanctions were not imposed as we assume. So it's step by step, and the first one were on the hostage crisis, and we know why the hostage
No,
crisis.
actually, the first ones were on oil, and I've got a complete interview of Shah of Iran, why he was actually dethroned, and it was due to that. That's why Khamenei was actually given rise. So yes, you're right. They were before this regime, but that's where the issues actually began, because he would not sell oil on desirable prices to either the UK or the Europeans at that time, or the EA at that time, or the United States. So the point is, the second.
Sanctions against
Hold on,
Iran were not imposed during
move on.
Shah's period,
I have a very
37
important
years of
question
his
to move
reign.
on. Hold on, I have a very important question to move on, which was the central part of this argument. Sid, would you bring up your screen again? I would like you to ask a question, and it's fair, right? Can you go there, Sid?
Oh, yeah, the screen is there. Tell me
Okay.
what prompt do you
So
want?
can you ask a very, very direct question in that, and look for references in those regards as well? I've got my own sources as well. I'm just interested how it would come up over here. I would like to ask is, so we can clarify, why was Iran not able to basically develop uh, infrastructure and air force and air defense? What is the primary reason behind it, and why was it able to build drones and missile technology? What is the primary reason behind that? And that should answer in a sufficient way, whatever the answer comes. Let's see. Because that was our main center point in terms of our argument, right?
I think Iran tried to have a deal with
Junaid
Russia
bhai, you would have
in
to
last.
speak a bit louder because it's very hard to actually l- listen to you. Can you speak a bit louder?
Okay, okay. Are you listening to me now?
Yes, this is much better than before.
Okay, okay. Okay, I am saying that Iran tried to have a good air force. I think in last 3 years, it tried to have an agreement with Russia for S-34 jets, but somehow Russia wasn't able to provide it in time. I think mainly because of Russia-Ukraine war. I think our sister will agree to me on this that Pakistan is quite lucky that Soviet Union attacked Afghanistan, and Pakistan was able to have F-16s, latest F-16s from US, and it was in US interest to provide Pakistan latest technology of that time, and Pakistan benefited a lot, and Pakistan used that experience in JF-17 also. But Iranians, did not take a very good decision to support Afghanistan or Afghan freedom fighters during that war. I think it sided with Soviet Union, perhaps, and that's why or it remained neutral. I don't think so.
Well, Junaid,
So
Let me add something here. If you want me to add, only I'll take your permission if you allow.
please go ahead.
So Pakistan just did not do it in the 1980s or 70s. When Pakistan was came into inception, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the leader of Pakistan, he is on record that we need to build the most modern air force in the world because he saw the Second World War going on and the technologies that were developed. So he believed that the modern warfare would be in, and he's on record, his statement would be searched. So then what happened was that Pakistan how to develop an air force. So he, as early as Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Qaid Azam, he came to know that some Polish uh, um, mm, jet fighters were laid off during the Second World War, and now they are jobless. So Pakistani Foreign Ministry posted jobs for the Polish and other Eastern European countries to join the our air force, and many of them stayed back in Afghanistan. Right. So all through those years, Pakistan started to train our air force and to build. And these Polish fighters were, you know, were no less than mm, equipped with German technology, the latest one of that those times. So Pakistan, as early as 1947, was interested in developing its uh, air force. And then you rightly said that many opportunities came, but only we were able to avail those opportunities because there was a clear vision in the founders that we have to go in this direction. And how clear headed that man was. I mean, it took us some 78, 80 years to reach where we did reach. And let me tell you, there is a statement from Muhammad Ali Jinnah also. I think I'm vaguely referring to it, but about the acquisition of nuclear technology. I mean, he predicted somehow, is one of his statements is there that maybe Pakistan should aim to go for it because he saw what happened in Japan, in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So these statements and these foundational acts coming from your leader of the country who founded this nation were very, and you would see that even during Soviet war, when we did not have F-16, we really downed their aeroplanes, the Soviet aeroplanes in the Afghan war in the beginning years. And then when we got the F-16, we became mere, so we had like a superiority, but the training still remained. The ethos still remained from the very beginning of the foundation. So that clear-headed our leaders were. We were not confused people, and we were not waiting for the opportunities to happen.
I'm not saying that we are waiting for the opportunity to come. I am saying that Pakistan was very lucky that during that 1980s period and due to Ziaul Haq policy, that US has just ignored Pakistan atomic program and nuclear program, that and it provided Pakistan with latest technology. And if you look at now, US is giving F-35s to Israel, but it is not giving to Pakistan, and not any Muslim country. But at that time, F-16 was their latest weapon, like they have now F-22 and F-35. They provided that to Pakistan. So that's what I am saying, that if in that particular year, Pakistan was very lucky to have to have that technology. And whatever our experts say, or to General Ziaul Haq and his all team, but I think his policy was very clear, and it was necessary to build that nuclear arsenal, and also that potent air force. And Pakistan pilots were very trained, and we are proud of all those pilots from right beginning, from 1950s to even now. MM Ahmad, MM Alam, sorry, MM Alam, he shot down six airplanes of India during that 1965 war. Yes, that is, it is correct. But I am saying that Pakistan is very lucky, and it is the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that especially after 1974, Pakistan was given many opportunities, and by from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Pakistan rightly availed those opportunities. In 2011, uh, Pakistan US relationship came to very uh, you know uh, down after that incident in I think Salala, perhaps, where 26 of our soldiers attained martyrdom, and the US attacked, and Pakistan stopped the NATO supply. And it is very bold decision of General Shaq Pervez Kiani, that he stopped for almost 6 months. Many people blamed him for many things, but I think he was a true warrior also. And in that whole period, that was uh, very dangerous period from 2007 to 2013. I think it was very dangerous period. US was very hostile towards Pakistan, but he somehow and that leadership somehow managed to stop US also. So I think our discussion is going somewhere else. But if Iran was not is not very lucky, and Iran's policies were also somewhere around. Also, we have to agree that on also it invested lot of dollars on proxies and all those assets. But now what I am saying, that now if you look at right now, they have invested rightly in rocket force, and it proved very lethal weapon against Israel and against American interest in Gulf countries. Because Iran knows that if its rockets and if its missiles are able to penetrate in American assets, then it will have a. If you look at that, they have stopped all oil that from Strait of Hormuz, I think, and they have stopped the oil. So if they don't have that rocket force, how can they do that? And even if they have a very advanced air force like Pakistan have, they stand, I think, very little chance against United States of America, because they have F-35s, F-22s. And Pakistan, it was very difficult for Pakistan to perform that we have performed against India. So even with China's help, it would be very difficult. But we have prepared. I just want to say that Pakistan have prepared even for US attacks in all those 20 years. I think General Pervez Musharraf and General Ashfaq Pervez Kiani, uh, they they told clearly that Pakistan uh, Pakistan was protecting its nuclear asset, and there was always a danger that US might take over the nuclear assets of Pakistan. So uh, they have covered that area also, and we have proud of our army and air force. I think I have spoken a lot,
I,
so
I just
now
want
your
to I just want to make one point here. I've been hearing this point a lot that Iran was very busy making its proxies, but now that you look at the trajectory of this war, those proxies are coming very handy. I mean, Iran entered the war, and after a few weeks, Hezbollah entered the war, and now Yemen is entering that war. So it's not just Iran; it's three different entities attacking Israel at the same time. So people would say that they wasted their time, but I think they turned out to be really useful.
Considering that what's in being initiated in Syria, Ahmad al-Shara could do the funniest thing right now, actually.
Yeah, so there are groups in Syria who are, I don't know if it's a rumor or what, but there are groups in Syria who are calling for jihad against Israel because of the Palestinian prisoner fiasco. So there's a possibility that there might be a Syrian jihadist going there as well. Not sure if that's going to happen.
So
No,
another
but if it
reason
is Ahmad
why,
al-Shara that takes that,
no,
it
no,
would be the
hold on.
funniest thing.
One of the reasons why Assad was so quickly removed and Israel also helped in the takeover, and how Jolani is being changed in terms of his status, is because they wanted to curtail and destroy those proxies of Iran within Syria, and then there was the ISIS issue as well. But having said that, time will show that how well Jolani has
Yeah,
basically.
I forgot to add another point. I think the Zenabune has been activated as well.
Yeah,
So majority of these proxies are actually working really well for Iran right now. I don't know about other places.
yeah. So, Sid, can you now go through uh, why this is a very important question, and it keeps coming up as well. Like, why was Iran not able to develop an air force while it was able to develop rockets and other stuff, while other countries have gone through and out and done that?
Okay, so is the video available? Yes, it is. Okay, so Iran actually does have air force. The only problem is that the crows that were living during the time when that air force was being built are already dead. It's very old, and I don't think they have the funds nor the technology to actually develop airplanes. Uh, of course, the Iranians, this part is about the Iranian stratagem, that they actually cannot win against USA or Israel, so therefore uh, they do not compete or utilize their resources in an area which they know that they do not have sufficiency. They instead change their doctrine to invest in an area which does give them an edge or some sort of uh, leverage in case of war, because of course Iran cannot match the technological vigor of American aircrafts. So they do an asymmetric warfare with missiles and drones. Uh, they do have air defense. It's just not sufficient enough. Iran has S-300. This is the precursor of S-400, which India has right now. And actually, even right now, they do have S-400. I think they acquired it very recently, but I don't think that S-400 can fight against F-35. The sanctions played a huge role. That after 1979, they couldn't buy anything. So everything that they have right now is actually uh, reverse engineered. I'll go to the next section. So these are their sources of how they reverse engineered everything that they have. They got the Scud missiles from North Korea. The components and know-how how to make them was from China. Some indirect Soviet help. This gave Iran basic ballistic missile capabilities, the Scud type. The reverse engineering, they copied imported missiles, they dismantled and rebuilt them, improved range and fuel system. This is how they got their Shahab series. Shahab series is basically the drone system of Iran, which they are using right now. Uh, and domestic industrial buildup. This is basically the structuring of how the financial debilitation of Iran actually forced it towards self sufficiency. They invested heavily in metallurgy, in solid fuel chemistry, and actually, you all would know that Iran actually has a very high
Sid, your sound is gone.
you actually all would know that Iran actually has a very high or at least a fair chunk of their. Am I audible now?
Yes, you are audible now.
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So that is their domestic industrial buildup, and one of the things that they were able to do in order to advance the speed or the trajectory of their missiles and drone systems was their shift to solid fuel. But this is a lighter note in there. Uh, this They made their strategy in regards to drone system after the Iraq war because they needed a reach, and of course, since they had nothing else to do and no interaction with anybody else, they had continuous testing and reiteration. Now let us move to the third part of the historical development of it. Mm, okay, so these are the headlines that I was given. The Iran threat. Uh, these are the books or the references that we can research or read into in order to understand the situation under which Iran developed its warfare stratagem. The Iran threat, it basically covers how the Iranian military evolved and the reasoning behind the missile development strategy. There was a whole uh, warfare
So,
uh,
so these are basically just
ideal.
yeah, so these are basically references of how and why this was the only situation in which they could have developed. But having said that, I don't still understand why we're even comparing the Pakistani situation with the Iranian situation, because neither has Pakistan ever been attacked by a superpower or even a regional power. I wouldn't even consider India to be a regional power. That's the only country we've gone to war with, and so it's very different compared to a situation which can only be upheld by countries like Afghanistan, Iraq, and now Iran. And Iran seems to have fared pretty well compared to that. In Pakistan's
I don't
case,
agree
yes.
with this statement.
Hmm?
I don't agree with this statement.
That's
Please
fine.
go
You
on.
don't have to agree. I'm just giving my opinion. And I did not interrupt you for good 20 minutes, Sumaya. So,
You're
what
going
what
on for.
can I please complete, if you allow me, Samaya, with your permission,
No,
please?
I mean, you go ahead. I'm not interrupting you. You go
Well, you kind of are by opening your mic. Do you have something to say,
I
Samaya?
just,
Shaji,
he just gave a statement and I said I don't agree with it. It doesn't
That's
seem
not
to be one.
that's not a statement.
okay, let's carry
Uh,
on,
yeah, yeah.
please.
So that's what I'm trying to do. Uh, I've kind of lost the train of my. Okay, but anyhow, so the thing is, what these references and what was quoted was brought by in terms of strategists and policymakers. I'll just provide some references. So Uh, the Iran threat by Ali Raza Nadir. That's something which is an academic studies. He's a policy maker. You can find his papers. Anyone interested in the description will basically add those papers for anyone who's interested. Then the second part is Iran's military power and International Institute of Strategic Studies. Again, that's a paper written over there in an extensive manner, and that is again produced by the United States. So it talks and covers missile ranges, development phases, and foreign existence and domestic production. Then the third reference in terms of what was presented here is the missile next door by, again, a policymaker, a doctorate, Michael Ellerman, how countries like North Korea and Iran have been able to develop basically missile production, but have not been able to produce air defense systems, and how the sanctions failed on those grounds. So again, there are key reports from the Pentagon. There's a paper. We'll attach that in the descriptions as well. Center of Strategic and International Studies Missile Defense Project. Again, that is something which it's a case study which is ongoing in two institutes. One happens to be the strategic studies within the United States, and the second one is also part of Homeland Security. It's the Peace Institute of United States. Then U.S. Department of Defense reports on Iran. Again, we'll attach those, and these are their findings as well. Because right now, and for the last decade or so, that's something which has been an eyebrow raiser for them, that despite all these sanctions where they have concentrated on Iran's nuclear capabilities being blocked and their defense systems being crippled, they have not been able to stop them from missile production in that way. So again, there's also a European institute which is part of the EU. They've got an entire department dedicated to missile threat and CSIS databases. And in that they list Iran as one of the top threats in the same um, situation, where they've gone through the missile specifications and everything else. Uh, there are numerous academic links in regards to that as well. Now, if somebody agrees or disagrees is up to them. But I would not personally compare Pakistan's situation with Iran at all. And in my opinion, solely my opinion, based on the references I have provided, I believe that in a certain situation, a country can only do as good as it can. I'll use the example of Afghanistan when it was fighting the Soviets, and then later on the Americans, and when the Americans basically left. Uh, they only had access to certain technology, and due to their circumstances and situation, they could only put up so much. Same applies to Vietnam, by the way, another interesting case study. So I believe that if we want to look at warfare and we look at conflicts, we need to look at each and every country on an individual basis rather than comparison. You can only compare when the threat and the situation is dire as each other. I would not compare India and Pakistan warfare to the same extent, neither for India or for Pakistan, with United States going and plundering a country, whether it's Vietnam, whether it's Iraq, whether it's Afghanistan, and now it happens to be Iran. So anyone who wants to disagree can disagree. That's fine. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, yeah. I have to say a few things on this. Um, well, I don't have recollection of Vietnam because uh, I was not on this planet even when that war was going on. So I have heard few things, but hearing is different than I did not know why that war started. I don't know what made that happen, but I'm pretty much aware of this Afghan war. And being a Pakistani, I'm pretty much aware of the war with USSR because there's lots of elders' memories. And so the USS war on Afghanistan was not really fought by Afghans, was fought by Pakistan. And a big part, like US came after 1.5 years, very later into that war. Um, but Pakistan Pakistan really took a decision early on to fight with Afghanistan. And if Pakistan had not taken that situation, the that decision, the situation in Afghanistan would not be the same as that it had turned out to be. So there is a um clearly a contribution there, and not just that, the threat was right on our border. So we were already at war. The way we are, I would say that Pakistan is still at war because the threat is right in Iran. It is like Turkey, even a NATO member, feels threatened. Day before yesterday, their naval chief, ex-naval chief, was on Turkish TV and he was talking about those threats, those imminent threats. So the neighbors always have those threat assessment and whether they actively get involved, in this case, Turkey not. Uh, or if they do, like Pakistan did against USSR, and we down many planes, at least 23, 24 jets of USSR were downed in Afghanistan. Some were heading towards Pakistan. So there were combats, real combats. So you cannot say that in the first case it was just Afghanistan, literally Pakistan. And we are still paying for a price for. And the second war also, not just Afghanistan, literally, but you have to hear many American generals on record that it is Pakistan, you know, really blaming Pakistan. Why Americans have not won? I have only one word for that. An American general. Still, there are records of one word, Pakistan. Okay. So why American have to leave with NATO? This in Iran, the only case is just US and Israel. The whole NATO, including Turkey, yeah, was though Turkey was not attacking Afghanistan, but it was helping in logistics and other things. And how many countries are there in NATO? You can count on fingers. And the US in 2001. Yeah. So there is no comparison really between them. But still, when the wars are fought, we do make comparisons. Yeah. It's human mind, how we act. We learn things in comparison. So
So,
for me, if I try to understand this war,
yeah,
I
what
would have.
I want to understand your point. I actually want to understand it. What's the point? Are you trying
Yeah,
to say
the
Pakistan?
point is that if we have captured in Iran, if Iran had okay, Iran, like one of the brother was saying that it has now started to, since 3 years, started to mm, build its air force capabilities. So find what I find difficult to absorb is that the focus was just on offense. So I do not agree with this that just whereas offense is a good is also a good threat to have, which Pakistan also has developed because it has a very developed missile program, just like Iran, if even not better, because it's nuclear capable also. You have to understand that. So
So, what are
um,
we exactly trying to say?
so what I'm trying to say is that if we had seen some amount of capabilities that Iran is now showing, I don't know how it is showing now, of downing these planes, these American planes. I think if this has happened earlier on in the war, then I would see a different result. And this should have happened inside Iran. I mean, some Israeli jets, some American jets should have
So
been
what are
killed.
you suggesting? For a month, they were like holding
So,
back?
and also, my view
I'm
on
trying to
proxies
understand.
is
Can you
different.
remain on the first
Just
point?
talking about
I'm trying to
Mohammed
understand, Samaya. What I'm asking is like, so for a month, what were they doing? You thinking that they were holding back?
I don't know what has triggered them now to attack. Probably it's a imminent threat of uh, uh, like the combatants probably in their closer
So,
region. I don't
so
know what is US's plan
what would you?
regards to boots on ground.
Okay,
But
so that's
but if
interesting.
the
But my question is, this is the first time the United States has accepted that their planes were downed. Before that, Iran has been claiming that on and off for a whole month. They haven't
no,
captured
but
no. So
nothing in Iran, nothing in Iranian space. Yeah, but if you, my thing is that if you have captured few pilots, if you have really defended your airspace, and from the very beginning when the first attack happened, that was from Israel, right?
so they've not been able to defend their airspace in your opinion, and like in many people's opinion, including mine. But the thing is, that's why are we dwelling on that now? What's
Yeah, because for me this is a very good policy, and this could have helped in
Yes, but it's
a
in the past now,
bargaining.
right?
Yeah, because all the focus is on Hormuz, right? So I
Hormuz is
understand
an
it
important
really gives a
right?
leverage for bargaining. And then the other thing is that somebody talked about proxies. I would say proxies is a monster that comes to haunt you back. And nobody knows it better than Pakistan. Nobody in this entire world knows it better than Pakistan.
Okay, so
Because
can we
proxies
get
are a
out
thing
of
that can be
so,
bought
yeah,
over. Yeah.
it's a request. The conversation is about Iran and Iran war. Can we please get out of Pakistan now?
Yeah, but it's very important. We are neighborly countries.
Yes, we are,
And
but we're not discussing Pakistan today.
and we, by
Respectfully,
the
no.
way, Iran's development budget, military budget, is three times more than Pakistan. It's almost $24 billion, 24, 25. And Pakistan is just
Okay,
8,000
so
now.
are you
It's
trying
eight
to
billion
prove
dollars.
are you trying to prove Pakistan has a better defense mechanism and
No,
a
I mean in terms of strategy, yes.
so
In terms
so
of the
so
first thing is strategy.
if that was the question of the conversation, I would agree with you, and I think nobody is going to disagree on that aspect. But that's not our topic, Sumaya, with all due respect.
Why I started talking about it because I
So,
feel that
so
now.
what you have to say in your final points, because we want to move on to with the Iran war, if
Yeah,
that's
because there is some meat in it. Because now Iran has started to attack the jets inside their territory, and the pilots they are dropping inside their territory, and Iran is searching for the pilots. So now this is a really meaty thing. I mean, if they can capture a few pilots, that would be a shockwave. And if I think they can do more of this, whoever has told them to do this. And at this step, I think it is a very, very good move. So that it is a divergence from the previous policy, but it is a very good divergence.
so.
And
I
in,
don't think it's a
Okay,
divergence
actually,
at all.
Shadi, I would like to
Hold
please
on,
jump in now
and
because
one. I'm going to say my last sentence. So, Samaya, I do not think it's a divergence. I think they've been trying to do that from day one. They've claimed some things as well, and absolutely one thing is for a fact. There's so many studies in regards to that. You might not agree with the reason, but the reality is, at the end of the day, you'll have to agree, and we both agree that Iran does not have a sufficient air force or air defense mechanisms within its country. And even these planes, which are basically being downed, are basically being downed through mobile missile technology rather than like some anti-air aircraft technology, which is sophisticated. So that's a drawback which is
But
there.
Shadi, at the end of the day, in the war, during the war, it's not important how you did achieve your
Yes, so
objective.
my point, why I raise that, I agree with you. It's not important, but the thing is, they've been claiming it for the last month. Only now, United States has accepted it, and we understand that is a weak point of Iran, and they can only be so much successful in that. This time, they've been lucky. It doesn't mean it's going to become the norm because they clearly lack in that department. So.
Actually, Shahji, since you are in the UK, why don't you request the Royal Air Force to, send a request to the USA that from now on they should let their airplanes often inside the border of Iran when they're trying to attack it? Kindly, please, and thank you. And don't
I
They
hover
are
think the
doing
UK
outside
it.
has
the
done the
borders.
opposite today. So what
No, they are
United
doing it.
no,
They
no,
are
hold
doing it.
on. So what UK has done today is that they're sending it to the GCC. They've spent them. They've basically told the GCC countries, in particular the UAE, that they're going to send them air defense technology to defend British assets and the UAE assets.
Oh,
So
your UK has done much more, Shaji. Let me share a bit with
yeah,
you.
yeah, go
Uh, because your beloved, well, not the queen, it's the king now. Your beloved king was the one that allowed these two. Actually, you know what? Maybe it was the British uh, intelligentsia that did give them the bright idea to go deep inside the territory of Iran so that Iran could, so graciously down these aircrafts, because these aircrafts, according to the Middle East Eye, flew from UK. So maybe it's the British people, taking a bit of vengeance for the smack that Trump was spewing against Britain. That now, when the airplanes flew from Britain, those airplanes are now crashed inside the Iranian territory.
I think that's
As
far fetched. I don't think they would do that.
It was sarcastic, of course, but
Yeah.
yeah, I did
So
want to share
the
the
thing is,
news.
many people won't understand your sarcasm, and they'll think that we're actually endorsing that conspiracy because there are people coming up with that conspiracy all day.
This whole discussion in regards to if that happened, then that would happen. That reminded me of a British show, actually. I would like to share that one as well. It's a very nice little clip of a morning show from Britain. Uh, I hope this lightens the mood for everybody. If everybody would like to see a little bit of a thing.
That's lovely. A fork. Do you know, if it had like ham in it, it's
No.
it's closer.
No.
It's closer to a British carbonara.
Oh no.
It is. No, that's true.
Oh well, nice. I'm glad you're standing
Do you
there.
agree?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you know what I mean.
If my grandmother had wheels, she would have been a bike.
If my grandmother had wheels, she would be a bike.
So you want to discuss these stupid jokes, and I was told that let's talk another topic.
It's fine.
Ah, Sumaya
I
not
agree
talking
on the.
slow.
I do agree on the grandmother's views, though. If you compare it with Ra.
It was funny. I mean, I had to lighten the mood. We were being so much serious for so
Yeah, they
long.
are. Okay.
It's fine,
Yeah,
Samaya. Chill out. It's okay. It's okay. So
I was
so
very. I was very too.
okay. So next part of the conversation. So Trump 3 days ago told the Europeans and the UK to basically get their own oil. Uh, a day later, after that statement was made, there was a conference announced of 35 plus countries. And what we basically saw after that is that today Macron basically tells people to stand up against Trump, and they are kind of negotiating trade deals or like a pass through Hormuz, and Iran has given like clear signals. Now, time will tell, is that something which the entire European Union, as well as the UK, are going to follow? And if they do follow, this can result in two things. One thing, they have gone and acquired their own oil, or is this a diplomatic stunt? In that way, indirectly, the Strait of Hormuz opens while uh, Trump can carry on with his war. It's a double-edged sword. Go ahead. Who wants to speak on that?
Macron is the French prime minister, right?
Absolutely. President.
Ah, yes. It's
Can you
always the
repeat
French.
again, Saji, what you just said? What did he say? He wants to make separate deals with Iran?
No, he didn't say separate deals. He said basically what the Europeans and other countries need to do is stand up against Trump, form alliances, and deal with the situation. And then there was a signaling from Iran that they might let the French pass their shipments through the Strait of Hormuz. And if this is the direction which is followed by other Europeans, including France, who hasn't like completely gone through that, that kind of resolves the situation in terms of Strait of Hormuz kind of being open, even if on different terms. So doesn't that enable Trump to carry on with his war?
I heard that like even a chance, like even like the to and fro bombing and drone attacks, it's actually enough to disrupt the flow of oil because the insurance for the shipping, the ships were really high. So that itself is a major blow to the oil trades. I don't know how true it is, how insurance affects so much, but that's what I heard. So if USA and Israel did not withdraw from the war, I would say that it's still a major blow to our economy and energy.
I think the wording that Macron used, well, first of all, of course, I have to make the joke. The stance that Macron took, it does not help the French stereotype of giving up first. But the joke aside, the wording that Macron used, that the Europeans should resist happy vassalization, that is an incredibly strong wording. uh, this kind of wording can have very adverse effect of the relationships between uh, America and the European countries, especially France. I mean, I'll share the news outlet for that. French President Emmanuel Macron urged the Europe to resist happy vassalization to the US. It is saying that I see a lot of people in Europe saying we are going to have to be nice to the American. It'll pass. We'll have to bow down. He used the word bow down for an allied country. And he basically said, answer is not submission. I'm not happy for vassalization. This kind of posturing, uh, it is going to have social effects. It's going to be ingrained in the minds of European people, because now it's not an opinion that's coming from outside of Europe, it's coming from one of the major leaders of the European Union. So uh, I think Macron, by saying and using words like this, has actually done a very deep wound to the American hegemony. It would actually be comparable to the wound of Iran downing American jets in regards to its air superiority. This is not a minuscule move, it is a very aggressive move. And yeah, that's my opinion on that.
It's not new for France. They have been saying this for a long time from Mitra and Jack Chirac and everybody. No, mainly like during the Iraq war, uh, like probably like they said something similar to this. Um, but
But
yeah,
never
US.
was Europe so much against America like it is right now. And you know what?
Yes,
America has Israel to thank for that. It is wondrous
I
to me
I
I
don't
don't
how
think
the
I
think
don't
Americans.
think
I
America had to thank anyone for that. I mean, Donald Trump is literally the Nero of today times. Like he's the Nero of America, and he's going to burn it down like he did.
if Trump spoke like Obama, he would have been much more successful in all his policies than all this like random insults to people and putting like this useless tariffs on countries. So yeah, so Trump personality is a major.
It's not just Trump, it's even Pete Hegseth. The kind of things they're saying, and even that Rubio, sorry, even that person, the kind of things they're saying, their statements are not aligned, and they keep giving information on their own. They keep like if it was Obama or Joe Biden, they would cover it up somehow. But he just straight up said that, oh yeah, they were going to attack Israel, so we attacked them first. Very unprofessional, but they did what they did. I think when this war is done, the present American, well, governance is going to just be a big joke.
I think uh, they are, in a way, forced to say it like that. The reasoning being that the war that Israel had started on Gaza, Israel required their puppets to show unconditional submission. This just shows which people are unconditional puppets to the Israeli regime. And people try to, brush this line of thinking off by saying, oh, all of this is conspiracy. Well, the reality is that all the things that we heard were quote unquote conspiracies when we were young, almost all of them are proving to be true. So
Yeah, but
just because it is sounding
even
like
if they are,
conspiracy right now, because
but
or the files are not out yet, or we have not been able to, pin down the proofs.
I think, Sid, it's a bit far fetched. Israel might have a control on America, but you need to understand that Israel is America's proxy. The very reason Israel exists is to keep the Gulf unstable. So it's not exactly just a one-way road where America is just loyal to Israel. Israel being there works for America. It's their kind of proxy.
yeah, but we
Can
also
there
have to.
exist?
But
Okay.
still, we also have to. Yes, we also need to understand that. I agree with Mom, and we have to see that the British who created Israel, the Prime Minister who announced that Israel would be created, was the biggest anti-Semitic in American history. So why they created the state of Israel? Because exactly how they want to colonize through
I,
Exactly.
expansion.
Get rid of the
And then,
two birds
yeah,
with one stone. Get rid of the Jews and also make a proxy.
yes, and then to as it works for the great powers that you make your proxy do the things and you sit behind, just in case of Iran, right? And with the way of plausible deniability. But we didn't do that. They did that. They, who are they? Tiny state of Israel.
is it possible that in the parliamentarian houses of Pakistan, there, uh, the lodges outside the doors of the parliamentarian lodges, there is a flag of Saudi Arabia, which of course has our Kalama Tayyiba on it, be displayed, and on it is written down that we stand with Saudi Arabia, even though it is actually our government's actual stance. But if a parliamentarian tried to do that, uh, there would be a huge ruckus in Pakistan,
But that's
right?
because you're not Pakistan is not Saudi's proxy. For the longest of time, we didn't have any deal. The deal
You
is very
don't,
recent.
no, 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 wait a second. You don't bend down or show loyalty to your proxy. Your proxy does it for you.
Well, I mean, it kind of got mixed up. They later on took control, but the main point of, I mean, America cannot just let go of Israel. It's not really that easy. If you look at it
Well,
politically,
of
conspiracy is
course,
one
the
thing.
Israelis have them in their pockets. Of
Yeah,
course,
but it
they
also
cannot.
works for them. So you see, I think you heard Shaji, the evangelical Christians also have a backing to it, and also because it works as a proxy for them. I mean, look at the places it has disrupted since it was there. Look at all the wars it picked up. Like Iran war made no sense. I mean, Israel, oh, we're there to defend Israel. Otherwise, why would do you think they were there for it to defend Israel? No, 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 no. Iran and America have always been enemies to each other. This was just an excuse.
To
Yeah,
what
one
extent are you
on
going
the
to?
lighter note, said, do you realize, and a lot of people do that when they basically say that this was a conspiracy. Do you realize that conspiracy is a real thing? When you conspire against something, what you're referring to is a conspiracy theory, said.
Yeah, the
What's
conspiracy
far fetched.
theories turned out to be true, didn't they?
Yeah, but conspiracy is a very real thing.
And they do conspire.
Yeah, a
Actually, they
lot
are
of people
notorious for
conspire.
their
You
conspiring,
conspire as well.
actually.
So when America, when the British made the Israel and then handed over to America after the whole Suez Canal thing, it is kind of a conspiracy that it was made as a proxy state.
Yes, it is a
Conspiracy,
conspiracy.
yeah, to keep the Gulf unstabilized.
Exactly. And so
And
far
it
they've
was
conspired.
they behind
Hold
it.
on, Sid. And so far they've conspired really well. And if you think about it, and you might want to look at it, state of Israel, if it did not have the support of the Europeans or the United States, would be able to do jack shit, my brother.
I don't
Even
know how that
even majority
goes
of the
against
royal
my point.
families, even the majority of the royal families in Gulf were placed by the British Empire.
How does that go against my point?
Your point is so correct me if I'm wrong. Whenever you make that statement, it seems like Israel is controlling the United States and the European powers, when it's the opposite. When you look
I
at
think
Israel,
you're
let me
confusing.
come on, let me complete and then explain to me. Right? When I look at it, since the conception of Israel, which was like from the proposed in the Balfour Declaration, and then the British, and do you know there was a time when they were even, and that points to Samaya's point earlier as well, uh, and it basically shows that they weren't even sure where they're going to get rid of the Jews in terms of where they're going to create Israel. They were looking at places in Argentina, in Somalia, in Africa,
I
various
think
other countries.
Ethiopia or Kenya was
Yeah,
also
yeah,
in.
yeah. So
Okay,
finally they went over there, and you'll see that even the Russians had a huge influence in diplomatic relations with the Russians, even sorry, with the Israelis. Even the Chinese have development programs in Israel. So everyone's trying to get to that proxy. I understand it's built some leverage now, but you cannot deny that it is the
Shaji,
proxy.
Can you answer this question for me? What is the meaning of Pakistan?
Why the hell do we keep coming back to Pakistan?
Because this one, for this one, we do need that. Can you answer the question? Think in Urdu.
What's the meaning of Pakistan? What do you mean by that?
पाकिस्तान का मतलब क्या?
Look, if you're going to say La ilaha illallah, I can agree with that, but I'm
Very
sure.
wonderful. What is now? I mean, we both agree to that. Now tell me, what is the meaning of Israel?
What's the meaning of Israel? Go ahead, tell me.
It's it's Jewish supremacy.
So how does that?
Zionism.
So
I'll tell you how. Because when I say
so my
Israel,
question is something else. So even if Israelis and the Jewish people want Jewish supremacy, how does that alleviate them from being a proxy of United States or the Europeans to begin with? Please tell me that.
yeah. When I say Israel, what you understand is either a geographical location that is controlled by a political party or a government, or you understand it as a political entity that is existing in an area. When what I mean is the ideological power behind of it.
Yeah,
It is
first of
not
all, I want
merely
to
a
say,
country.
I want to correct you first. The creator of Zionism, the Herschel guy or whatever, he was not a Jew himself. He was an atheist, right? He
Almost
went
all
to
Zionists are.
no. Listen to me. He went to a few rabbis, and they all refused to actually acknowledge him, and they actually told him he's an apostate, right? So when it comes to Zionism, majority of the people in Israel are atheists. They're not even Jewish by religion. They're not even exactly Jewish by DNA. And the real actually Jews, the super religious Jews, the Hasidic Jews in New York, they don't even support it. They call it an abomination. They are generally on Palestine side. So it's not exactly a Jewish issue if you look
Yeah,
at it.
it
It's
is.
just Zionism is just a mixture of Abrahamic values being mixed up with European values.
Actually, it is a very common proverb among the, at least the New York people, that majority of the Jews are actually atheists. That does
Mm.
not actually
No, no,
change what
no, no.
I'm
These
trying to
people are
say.
actually atheists. They do not believe in all that stuff.
They
So
don't have to.
whether
We
we
Sid,
know for a fact that
Sid,
they
you're
are.
being an anti-Semite right now. You cannot blame the whole community for something specific. Do you blame all Muslims for ISIS? Because
Uh,
Zionism is no different than ISIS.
why?
How is it different?
No, I'm
One
saying,
has a
why are you waiting to that? ISIS
no, because
is
that is
very
exactly how it
clearly.
is. That's how exactly the West have been doing, right? So ISIS is Muslim.
No, wait a
That's why
second.
Muslims are bad.
ISIS,
So you're saying the Zionism is Jewish. So all Jews are bad. That's wrong. You cannot generalize like that.
first of all,
Do you think all
one
Hindus are
is,
Hindutva?
you're now comparing completely three different things.
No, 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 no,
ISIS
no. I'm
is a
comparing
creation. ISIS
every
is an
religious group
American CIA creation. Is
every
violent
religious group.
ideology.
Yeah. So what about Taliban? What
What
about Al
about
Qaeda?
Taliban?
What about Al Qaeda?
No
Do you think they're
comparison.
really
said
Muslims?
said every community is a spectrum. There are going to be extremists, there are going to be extreme liberals, and there are going to be people in the center. You cannot say that everyone
Yeah, you cannot just
The
brush everyone with that. It's the
extremities
same
you
way
would
all people
go.
say that all
No, no, no.
Muslims are Taliban. All Muslim are
The
terrorists. It's the same
extremities
statement.
you would go to defend.
defend what?
Defend what? Humanity?
What is he talking about?
He's been he's been attacked by Hasbara.
No, I think Allah stopped his voice because he spoke
Just
against
a
the chosen
word,
people.
it astounds me. You want
Said we can't hear you. The chosen people stopped your voice.
Now, tell me something. Don't we Muslim also think that we're the chosen people? Mehdi is going to come and he's going to leave us alone and, just fight everyone else. Don't we think that we're the chosen people? Don't
Well,
Christian think that they're chosen people? Why is it fine the Zionists are misusing it, whatever, TK? But almost every community thinks they're the chosen people.
yeah, even Hindus are
We
waiting for
don't.
the Kal.
Yeah, they're for Kali Yuga. Yeah. So why is it that one community
Guys,
says
first,
the
Wait. We are
Taliban
not
says,
waiting.
give me a second, give me. The Taliban says that we're the chosen people, so we will bring Sharia to the rest of the world. That's why they think that we're the right people, we're the chosen people, so we're going to bring
I
Sharia to
don't think
everyone.
you actually understand what the concept of what the whole concept is when they say that they are the chosen people. And by the way, when
That
my voice
everyone
was
else is
cut
a
off,
lesser human, right? Everyone is a lesser human. Like ISIS and Al Qaeda treat
and
everyone
it's
like lesser humans.
first of all, even in their worst scenarios, they do not give that ideology.
Do not the Hindu, oh, because the Hindus and the Sikhs and the non-religious people and the Shias are living very peacefully in Afghanistan and all the places ISIS is,
Not
right?
living
They're
peacefully,
very
going through
peacefully in
war is
Syria. They're not, their houses are not being taken down, their houses are not being burned down, right? Very peacefully, because they
dehumanizing
don't think
is different.
they're
No, no, no. Wait a second.
you don't think
Dehumanizing is
burning
very
someone's house
different
down
than
and
going
killing them is not dehumanizing?
Said,
killing. Actually,
said,
no, no. This is
said,
You
very.
don't think TTP exploding in the face of Pakistanis because they think we are kafir is not dehumanizing?
You do
Huh?
realize that I can talk faster than you, right?
No, it's not about talking faster. I'm just giving you examples. Give me the
Because
answer. Do you
yeah, but
think that
I
that's not
can't give you an answer if
being
you keep speaking.
exploded into pieces, because the other person think you're a kafir? Is that not dehumanizing? Is that humanizing? Do I become more human in their eyes?
I would like
Actually,
you
you know
to
what?
listen to a speech which also applies to all other communities. And I think I came across that yesterday. It's like 2, 3 minutes. It's an old clip of.
I am done with how much you guys would defend
Hold
a
on for
bloody
a
word,
second, please. Hold on for a second.
and then
Just
you
hear.
would jump from one place to another.
No, this is with the same subject. Just listen to this. It's like 1.5 minutes, and that applies to all communities. By the way, it's beautifully said.
Islam is part of our past and our present in all fields of human endeavor. It has helped to create modern Europe. It is part of our own inheritance, not a thing apart. Islam can teach us today a way of understanding and living in the world which Christianity itself is the poorer for having lost. Our judgment of Islam has been grossly distorted by taking the extremes to be the norm. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a serious mistake. It is like judging the quality of life in Britain by the existence of murder and rape, child abuse, drug addiction. The extremes do exist and they must be dealt with, but when used as a basis to judge a society, they lead to distortion and unfairness. We in the West need also, I think, to understand the Islamic world's view of us. There is nothing to be gained and much harm to be done, it seems to me, by refusing to comprehend the extent to which many people in the Islamic world genuinely fear our own Western materialism and mass culture as a deadly challenge to their Islamic culture and way of life. The fact is that our form of materialism can be offensive to devout Muslims, and I do not just mean the extremists among them.
Okay, so Sid, what he said about Muslims, that's what we can discuss later. But this applies to Jews as well. The way you're comparing the
When I say
extreme
the word
violence.
Jew,
No, you
you
know what?
think
You know what?
about
For the longest of time, till Zionism did not take root, Jews and Muslim lived in the same communities in
and
Europe.
we
They lived
pay for
peacefully in
that right
Iraq.
now,
They lived
don't we?
peacefully in Yemen, right? Since Zionism came, that kind of changed. Otherwise, they were not all of them are our enemies. Not all of them want you dead. That's actually generalizing some millions of people.
Yes, It is. That's how societies work.
No, that's not how society works. That's not
No.
exactly how society
Oh my
works.
God! Can you please just
How would you feel?
stop
How
the?
would you feel if somebody comes to you and tell you that you're a terrorist just
Oh my
because you
God!
have TTP and
Again with
TTA
the
and Al
feelings.
Qaeda?
First of all, I've suffered through all of that. Secondly,
Oh, so you think
I'm
that was
actually
good?
done
So
with.
for you,
It
that's
doesn't
suffering,
bloody
but for a
matter.
normal Jew, that's not suffering.
You
So
have
you'll make a
to
normal Jew
stop
suffer through
talking
that.
at one point for me to say something. You cannot just keep on speaking.
Okay, it's
You do have to understand that I can speak much more faster.
okay. Just
Secondly, whenever I'm saying the word you picture Natalia Murkovoskovic-Berg living somewhere in Ukraine. That person does not particularly matter now, does it? Now, then you have to jump from, oh, they are atheists, but they are just ethnically Jews, but then they are not religiously
They're not
Jews,
even
but then they are.
ethnically
Doesn't
Jews.
matter.
The
Doesn't
majority of them
matter.
are Ashkenazi, and they're not even
It
ethnically
does
Jews.
not matter
Those that
because
came from
you
the
can
Gulf are
jump
the
from.
ethnic
I
Jews.
understand that whole thing. Do you really think that I do not
So so
understand
so so,
that they
so
can
that's
jump from one
so
place
it's
to another?
it's okay. So it's okay for
You
you
have to
that
say
someone call
that no, they are not
Muslim terrorists,
religiously
and it's
Jews.
okay for you to call all Jews Zionist. That's
Doesn't
how we're going
it
to go
does
forward.
not matter. It does not
It
matter
does
in the
matter.
least. It does matter for because whenever I say the word Jew,
But
you just
that's why
have to
half of the half.
visualize
That's why
Natalia
Muslims don't even get visas for
Merkovoskovic-Berg
into first
living
world
in
countries because they're
Bulgaria.
all called terrorists.
Oh my God. The extent to which you are willing to go to defend them is astounding to me.
Sid,
No, it's not just about them.
At
If you
your
would have
own
said that
cost.
about Christians, if you would have said it about Hindus, I would have
What did
reacted the
I
same
say?
way.
What
Sid,
did I say?
Sid, just one question. So do you believe all Jews of all backgrounds are basically evil?
Any Jew that has even an ounce of loyalty or leaning towards Israel is basically an evil entity.
So somebody who doesn't have a leaning towards Israel,
Then I can consider,
no, it's not about
but
considering.
only
You
consider.
think that person is evil?
Well, like I said, I would only consider because there is more to it than just Israel, the
No,
political entity that is
I'm,
existing.
I'm
Because
talking.
I don't know, I am done with the sugarcoating.
No, I'm not talking about no sugarcoating. I'm asking a simple question. So you're a run-of-the-mill normal Muslim, right? We're all here like normal Muslim. Some might be more practicing than others, but like if somebody basically compared you to a terrorist or ISIS, or told you that you're basically a believer of terrorism, is that acceptable for you? Do you think that's a right
Oh,
call?
you're saying that like you
No,
have
I'm asking a
personally
question.
not experienced that.
No, I'm not
We
saying
have
that.
already been through that. You and I both.
So that means you'll do it as well? You didn't learn your lesson?
So,
Oh no,
so
this means that there has to be an equivalence so that it
no,
stops.
okay.
Otherwise, it
So,
doesn't. And
No,
so
it
by the
doesn't
way,
stop.
there is a wait a
The
second.
what
Wait a second.
happens
Do you
what
think?
happens is
Do you
you've been
think
talking.
that
You've been
the
talking. Let me speak now.
109 countries that threw him out, they were all idiots? They had no reasoning. There was no
I think that
financial
was wrong.
burdening.
Wow, that is
Oh,
so
that was wrong.
intellectually dishonest. Majority of those
How is that
country who kicked
intellectual?
them out, you know why they were kicked out during the time of the plague? Because they were not getting affected by the plague, the Muslim and the Jews, because they used to stay clean, and the Christians were. So they kicked them out because according to them that the Jews were
Muslims were
doing
not
black
kicked out.
magic. So if you they were kicked out of France for that.
Were they
If
not
you
throwing things in
can
the
I speak
wells?
now? Sid, can I speak now?
I've
So
hardly
so
gotten 2 minutes.
no, let me speak now. Shush. So they were kicked out of France for that. So if you pick out every nitty-gritty, every small reason that they were kicked out, because the Christians hated the Jews for the longest of time. It's very recent that they are in love with the Jews. And even now you can see some of the hatred in them, right? Because of the whole Jesus fiasco. But the thing is that they always needed a reason to kick them out. They always needed a reason to kick them out. Muslims are being deported from all over the world. Do you think that's the problem with Muslims? Do you think Muslim are terrorists? That's why. Your own Muslim countries
Actually,
have
we know
actually, you know what? Pakistani visas are being cancelled by Qatar, Dubai, and God knows how many countries. You think you think
and
it's just the whole
Pakistanis, and you're
Pakistan?
telling me that Pakistanis have not, done colorful things all
Some of
over
them, a
Dubai.
lot of them are really just leading normal
Oh,
lives.
oh,
Bad
yeah,
people
some of
exist
them.
everywhere. Bad people exist
Bad
everywhere. Good
people
people
exist,
exist everywhere.
and
Putting everyone in the same,
you are willing,
even right now in
you are
America, who's
willing.
waging war
No,
at
no, no.
Iran, there are people who support Iran who are against this war because they know that it's unfair. Are you going to blame the whole American community for
There
it?
there is I do not understand how you are not able to
You want
conceive
me
the
to just call the
idea
whole
of
community,
totality.
the whole community Zionist because you felt hurt when you were called a terrorist? That's what you want me to do.
There, no, you know that there is much more to it than that. You know that there are financial consequences. You know that there are financial and psychological and media control and political control that even the people that do not support Israel are in control of. You know that there is hoardings going on. And by the way,
I never said to
if
support
during by the
Israel.
way during
I'm
the
talking about Jews who are not
of
supporting
course
Israel, who
you
are outside
cannot
of Israel.
conceive you of course whenever somebody points it out, you cannot conceive Rabbi Shmuley. You just have to think about Natalia Marchkovskvikberg living in Bulgaria,
Because she's the
because that's the
majority.
only thing.
No, because she's the majority.
Oh, it's the majority.
That's
Those
hold
that
on.
majority does
Rabbi
Hold
not
on.
have.
Shmuli is no
Let me
different than
get
al
a word in.
Baghdadi.
Please let me get a word in.
Because
Wait,
no, wait a
hold on,
second.
calm down, man. Just calm down. Okay. So the point over here is like you mentioned 2 points which I completely disagree with, and in fact I would go out and protest against that. Point number one is that you would only consider somebody who is not an active part of Israel to be a normal human being, and you would still probably consider them to be evil. Number two, your justification is that because Muslims went through this in the last 25, 30 years, that is something which we need to endorse. It again, when you come out of something, when you face
Wait a second.
something.
How can you
Can I,
say some?
did I
No, no, no.
interrupt
Wait.
you?
No, I have
Let
to
me
interrupt here. The reason is I have to interrupt here, Shaji.
I haven't
Something that
completed what
doesn't
you called
matter.
on the. No,
I
no.
have to,
Oh
Shaji.
my God! No, you don't. You're going
Shaji,
to look.
when
I
you
do not
apply something
interrupt
to me
you.
that I did,
Man, what the hell is this, man? I'm not here to
you
have a
cannot
shouting match.
say that I said something
Can
when
you
I did not. Oh my
listen?
God.
Listen. Even if I am going to misconstruct what you said, it's recorded, and secondly, you can correct me. Let me complete. Everyone needs to calm down. Let each other speak. Show some respect to each other. So the second point is you basically very clearly said, and I might be wrong. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But you said if I went through this, then at the end of the day, it's justified that others go through it. I do not endorse that. If some wrong has been done to me, if I've been called a terrorist or viewed as a terrorist, or somebody's referred to me as a fundamentalist when I have never been so in my life, I would not want that on another community. No, I wouldn't. Now go ahead, Sid.
And I also protest how you think that Hunter x Hunter is a better anime than One Piece.
Nah, the best anime is Death Note. And of course, Grave of the Fireflies.
And I also protest that she thinks that Grave of the Fireflies is an
Can we
anime.
come back to the subject, children?
No, we can't, because those things were said about me by Maham.
I didn't say
I did not
anything.
say those. Yes,
I
you
just
did.
said you can't blame all the Jews for what Zionists are
And
doing.
Okay.
automatically I
Just tell
said
me,
all of those
okay,
things.
you know what?
And
Just
you know what?
answer me. Do you
While
think
we're
all
at it,
Jews
I
are bad, or
protest.
do you think only
Wait,
those that are Zionists are bad? Just answer that.
I'm not even going to entertain this if this is how you guys are going to approach it. I protest that you think that Afghanis are ugly.
What?
Yeah, I protest that.
When did I say Afghans are
Now
ugly?
you can prove that now, whatever.
I
You can
cannot
say
prove.
anything that Of
I'm
course
kind
you
of
cannot
related
prove
to
it
the
because you
Afghans, so
didn't
I
say.
can't really say that.
And
No.
I also protest that you think that
Sid,
veganism
I'm
is
going
the
to do
only way of
something.
living.
I just realized I can play the exact recording of what you just said by sharing it on the video. Do you want to listen to yourself? I have that clip.
No, Shah, move
Yeah,
on.
do it.
I have that clip where you basically just said about 10 minutes ago. It's there. We can play it live.
Yeah,
Where
do
you
it.
basically said, let me tell you exact words, and I'll play it if you want. You basically stated that if this was done to me, if I have gone through it, then there has to be an equivalent and not too many words. Do you want me to play that?
What I said was that there has to be an equivalence for that to stop.
Yeah, by calling them all out and saying that they're all terrorists or that.
How can you mix two different? Oh my God! Are
That's
you
what
know
you
what?
were talking about.
No. That is you
That's what
guys
you were talking about.
are basically exactly the thing that the Jewish media does. Take one part, mix it with another, and then just combine it.
Okay, man, it's fine,
I
Sid.
mean, I'm amazed at your comprehension or
Okay,
the
let's make it
comprehensibility
simple.
with which you do that.
Let's make it simple. And I'm going to ask you again. Do you think that any Jew who is not part and parcel of Israel or Zionism or a supporter of apartheid state of Israel is basically an evil person?
I would not automatically assume them, but I would still be extremely, extremely cautious, especially if they are in the industry of banking, in the industry of media, in the industry of fashion, or in the industry of pornography.
You still didn't answer my question, but
I,
okay.
I did. I answered you exactly. I first negated and then I limitated. I
Okay,
gave you an
another
exact
another
answer.
another question. Do you know in some countries, including the UK, the Muslim community and the Jewish community are allies on many issues? Let me give you an example. Like for example, some
I would
countries.
assume that majority of our laws are very similar. How
So
does
the
that change
possible.
anything? How does
So
that
so
change?
so I'm building up to that question. So would you consider such a Jewish person to be an evil person?
The Jewish person that I would automatically assume to be an evil person would be a Jewish person that is a Zionist. The rest,
So I
there
already
is
clarified
more
that.
to Zionism. There is more than just Zionism at play. And
Okay,
when I'm
now
saying
coming up
Zionism,
to now.
wait a second. When I'm saying Zionism in this context, I mean only the allegiance towards the political entity of Israel,
Yes,
not the overarching
so that's
ideology.
what you should say. That's what you should say, rather than saying using the word
Yeah,
evil.
I
Yeah,
should,
so we'll all
just
agree to that.
we
I don't
exactly like this.
so
Don't
nobody
say
disagrees with
you
that.
should say Bolsheviks. You should say Kasnet.
No,
You should
no,
say
it's the same.
Zionist.
It's
Ideology
no,
existed before Herschel.
Sid, it's the same difference when, for example, people use the generic term of Muslim and Islam to describe ISIS. So you have to be specific in those terms.
Muslims and Islam. First of all, ISIS is actually
Then,
on the record a CIA creation,
well,
funded by
that,
it.
I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty of how ISIS was created. I'm talking about the
Was
racist
ISIS,
people.
who was joining ISIS?
No, no, hold on. That's not the question here. We're going to deviate into an ISIS thing. What I'm referring to are racist extremist people who are Islamophobic. They will use the generic term of Muslim to describe somebody extremist like that, and they'll talk about normal Muslims in that way. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So in that same way, it's very, very important that we use correct terminology when we're talking about communities in specific.
Yes, there is no charity system that is overarching in those communities that directly helps Israel.
Which communities?
the Jewish communities.
Yeah, so if you look at many Jewish people who are conservative or who happen to be like Orthodox, you'll hear them
They
say that
still
this.
pay.
I'm telling you something. If not you, anyone who's listening, right? They basically consider the state of Israel to be an artificial construct. They do not believe that it is a legitimate state, and they do not believe the third temple, even if it was artificially created over there, would basically bring about their Messiah. So there we go.
And still they pay, don't they?
Uh, I don't know what
The
you're talking.
financial links still exist, do they not?
Not with the Orthodox Jews who we're talking about. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
I mean, of course, the Orthodox Jews living in
listen,
California that are living off welfare,
Sid,
they don't, make money.
Sid, Sid.
Come on.
Just like
The extent.
what you're saying is like, for example, some dude living in the United States or Britain. I'm sure, for example, I can give my example. I've never given any charity to anyone who is an extremist organization, and I would not do that. So I'm sure it applies to the Jewish
I
community
don't
as
think
well.
that Muslims have any sort of financial system that
Oh yes,
links
they
back
do.
to Israel.
Many of them have been banned in recent times. There have been many there. I can.
All of them are sectionized. I understand how their finances occur.
How
None
do
of
they
them are
occur?
standardized. None of them are linked automatically to a
Have you
state.
heard of Hizb Tahrir and their
Of course,
financial?
I've heard of Hizb
Okay,
ut-Tahrir, and
so
I do.
where did the who was the fundraisers going to from Hizb Tahrir? Said
A lot of the mosques
no. It
and some
oh
charities.
no. There was a central body. Al Muhajirun was also connected to them. Where was the central body? Where did it go to? It went to Muslim Brotherhood, for your kind information.
And
I showed you a
what
central.
population of what percentile of Muslim population is that?
I would say in
Two?
the 90s, round about 15 to 20% of all British young Muslims or European Muslims were in one way or another part and parcel of that.
Okay,
I
in that time period, I believe the population of Muslims in Britain was like what, 0.3%?
when you
It's a
look
tiny
I,
island.
if you look at the complete number in the early 2000s in entire Europe and United States connected, that is round about 50 million people, right? If you
What is
count
it in percentile?
hmm?
What is it
the
in
content.
percentile?
If you're going to count countries in the continent of Europe, you'll have to consider Bosnia and all those countries as well,
Why should I? We were
because
talking about Britain, weren't we?
that's how the funds were accumulated, my friend. Maybe you're unaware of that. I don't know, maybe because you're not from that part of the world, so you don't understand the infrastructure, but it was very centrally organized.
You have to understand.
And one
You
more thing.
can try
You,
to
you
you
don't
can
know,
try
right?
to take on the politically correct wordings
No, the truth,
only
not
for so
politically
long.
correct, the truth.
Only for so long.
And no, the truth, not politically correct, the truth. Right? I
Yeah, the
felt
truth.
really,
You have
I felt after post 7/7 bombings, I felt really targeted as a British Muslim. I felt really badly targeted. Right? I used to be a quiet person before that. I never used to speak about politics. I didn't care about politics. But I was not left with a choice, and neither was anyone else. Right? So I know firsthand where this is coming from. And we had two sides of people in the UK, right? Ones who talk like you're speaking right now, and ones who basically came and basically said that yes, Sid is correct. So on one side we had the Anjum Chaudharies, who basically wanted to uh, put in the flag of Islam on Buckingham Palace and telling the Queen to either convert or leave the country, because she was live at that time, right? Making stupid statements like that. And the second group of people basically endorsing, see, this is what Muslims are like. And that didn't really work out. That's not politically correct. That was not what majority of Muslims in the UK wanted. That's not what anyone wanted to be represented as. So
The
people
only
have to,
thing that matters,
can I
Shadi,
just
I'm sorry, but
can I please
Shadi,
complete? Can I please complete? So then you had various people speak up against this, and they that's not them being politically correct. We basically went out and basically said that both of these sides are speaking bullshit. We're not basically interested in that. Same applies to the Jews. As for your percentage thing, and that's going to be my last point, Jews have always, since the Second World War, been lesser in number post 70s, especially in terms of percentage in every country of Europe compared to Muslims.
I asked about the Islamic Muslim percentile, and you give the answer Jews were lesser than that. Wonderful. But all of the things that you have said in regards to comparison with Muslims are actually moot, because you are trying to give the argument in regards to the quantitative immeasurable, because of course you can't interview anybody, a lot of so many people, and you cannot know what is in the heart of somebody. It is about the power structures, and it always should be considered in regards to the power structures that are in play.
Majority of Jews in my country, the UK, are not pro-Israel. I'm sorry.
Doesn't really matter, those
Oh, it
who
does
are in
matter.
power
It does
are.
matter. So when somebody
So
listens to,
you're basically upset that they did better for themselves while your people were just deciding what to do with women and how to make them wear a burqa?
oh yeah, and also like I
Actually, they were your people, you're Afghan, not me.
uh
Anjum Chaudhary was an Afghan?
Anjum
I
Chaudhary
don't
was
know who
from
Anjem
he was
Chaudhary was,
from
but
Punjab.
burqa is an Afghan thing. But anyways, the point is, when you
Abaya is
point,
not. Abaya is not, right? So stop crying about it that the Jews worked for it. There is a reason there are so many
they
Nobel
work
Prize winners
for
Jewish
they
and just
work
two of them from
for
Pakistan that we rejected.
genocide.
We rejected both of them.
The the way that you're idealizing the
No one's
work for
idealizing. Sid,
Nobody's
genocide
Sid,
is
idealizing. This is
amazing.
reality. This is
Yeah, it
reality.
is
This is not
reality. They
idealizing.
work
It's not
for
their
these
fault that they
people.
did better for
They
themselves.
work
They were
for
busy
these
making something
people.
out
They
of themselves,
deserve to
while you
kill
were busy,
Palestinians.
while our people were busy
They
deciding what should a woman wear
they
and when should a woman
deserve
go
to
out
massacre
and where should we,
Palestinians
which
because
food should
they
we take
work
first
for
in
it.
the house? What should we say when we go inside the house? We were busy in that
No,
stuff.
we should definitely idealize them because they worked to get to a place where they could massacre Palestinians, where they could control
that's
and
Not
Sid.
all of them are
Again,
doing that. A lot of them
no,
are just busy in
majority
their
are doing
lives.
that, but the
Sid,
ones that are
Sid,
in power
again,
are.
we're talking about the general
So you're
Jew.
just jealous of them.
No, no, hold on. So
Whenever you point out at somebody, you
Sid,
point at the power
No,
a
but
structure.
you're
Jewish.
pointing out the fact that they're powerful
No,
because they worked hard.
there's a primary difference. A Jewish person living in the UK is just as connected to Israel as a Muslim living in the UK is connected to ISIS. So we need to understand that. And somebody who
Actually,
doesn't,
you know what? ISIS is not even a power structure in the Islamic world. A better
said,
comparison would be Saudi
said
Arabia.
no, not a Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia is a normal country, man. Even though
Oh,
it's a
it's a normal
kingdom, it's
country.
a
Yeah. A
normal
better
country.
comparison would be UAE then, I guess.
UAE is also a normal country.
Oh,
Either
it's a
you want
normal
to,
country.
I don't accept Israel to be a normal country. Israel is an apartheid state,
Oh,
and
yes.
majority of Jews
What?
in the UK are not part and parcel or supporters of state of Israel. That's the difference.
You are again and again and again trying to appeal to the qualitative argument, which is wrong here.
Okay, so the qualitative argument about Muslims when
I'm
we're
sorry, I used the word qualitative, I meant quantitative. When I am repeatedly trying to tell you the
do you think
identification, when
somebody
you have to talk about these
so said
things,
I'm going to
it
ask you a
always
very direct
refers to
question.
power structures.
So tell me, when for example, in the area of Golders Green, which is heavily dominated by Jews in London, about 3 weeks ago, a bunch of people decided they're going to blow some ambulances up. Do you think that was justified?
Why would people blow ambulances up?
Because it was a Jewish area. There were Jewish ambulances from a Jewish charity organization. Do you think that was justified because it was and it was very close to uh, a synagogue? That's
Uh,
like,
uh, Ravi, can I say one thing?
yeah.
Why?
I would say there's nothing more supporting of Zionism than being anti-Jewish or anti-Zionist. Why? Because it works for them. They want people to be what they call quote unquote anti-Semitic because it gives them really that victim card that they can then play and do the things they are doing inside, uh, whether in Israel or elsewhere, where they use this as a propaganda tool. Now, this is a kind of espionage or this kind of policy that you really need to be very delicate to understand, you know, and this is how delicate it is. And that when
Exactly. And you know what? They actually want more hatred toward Jews, so that they accept Israel. They come to Israel and settle in all those places that they've
one
taken from
more
the
thing, one
Palestinians.
more, one more thing, Malcolm. There was, and it's pretty much chronicled in books that Jews themselves have written, that one party went to Hitler and said, "Why don't you kill?" And this was elite, Jewish elite. Why don't you kill these people here and here and there? You know, they just suggested some area where they thought that, um, and I forgot the name of that Jewish party who went to either Hitler or somebody in the Nazi circle. And then they were shocked. They said, "You are Jew. Why are you saying that?" And they said, "We have to do it because in order to for us to in those times, I mean, pretty much the state of the Ottomans already had fallen, and then I mean, this was late 30s or mid 30s something. Um, so they said that we need to do it because otherwise we won't be able to legitimize what we are doing in that part of the world, which is Levant. So they really, uh,
Sumaya, I completely understand the tactic of river back, like this tactic that you put a river back behind the army so that they are cornered and they have no other way. I understand that tactic. The reasoning that I have for using this terminology is that I want the people to understand that the problem is not merely in the political geographical entity of Israel. Zionism is beyond that. The problem is beyond that. The problem is deep rooted within the financial structures as well. It is deep rooted in the banking sector. It is deep rooted in the media sector. It is deep rooted in the fashion industry. It is deep rooted in education systems.
that I do not
People try to,
say.
yeah, you do not, do
I'll
you
tell you
not?
why I don't agree with that. I think when you look at the financial sector and various other places, you'll see representation of all kinds of people, and they are going to work for their interests. You see a lot of Hindus there. You also see a lot of Muslims. I myself, for good 15 years, worked for Lehman Brothers and Goldman Sachs. And I'm not talking about individual level. I'm talking about the entire EMEA department. So I know how those things work. I've been part and parcel of
How
that
does
system.
that?
I'll tell you how that does. When people basically say all these things are basically captured by Jews or whatever, this is not how corporates work. They work for their interest. They're competing in the market. They're not working for communities. They're working for personal gain. And at times, I understand there are lobbying groups, there are pressure groups, but at the end of the day, you cannot basically say that it's just the Jewish lobby which is
You
working in
under
there.
No, no, no. I think you understand this argument more when it comes from people like Mujahid Ali or other anarchists or other communists.
No, I
But
don't agree
whenever
with that.
somebody tries to
I don't agree with them. That's the entire thing. All these people happen to be my friends, but they've been on the other side of the system. I'm a believer that you should basically work in the system, whatever the system is, and even if you want to make a change, you have to work
put
and play the game, right? So when you talk about anarchists and
words into the right
what,
in the circumstances.
in what circumstances you were cut off? Can you repeat yourself, Sid? I
Oh,
can't
my
hear
mic
you.
was. I was not. Am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Hello.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, what I was the monologue. Then I guess what I did was that you understand when it comes. At least you understand or recognize the issue when it comes
You're broken again.
to
You're broken again,
from some
Sid.
say the word decentralization. But
You're
when
broken
I
again.
put words,
Now
forget it,
you're
Shaji. I
okay.
guess they got.
No,
No,
now
I
you.
guess they got me.
No, come on. Speak
Yeah,
now. Try.
but again, I would say that what my point was that you at least recognize the problem or understand the situation or the argument being presented when it comes from somebody who is an anarchist or a communist or somebody who likes to say the word decentralization a lot. But when somebody puts words on the theories, you become uncomfortable.
No,
Well,
no,
I
Sid.
have
So I'll explain. I know a lot of people like this who use these words like decentralization and stuff. And when I was in on the peak of my career, right, in the financial industry, I fell for them, and that was the biggest mistake of my life. Right, I'm never going to buy into them. And hold on, I ended up resigning from a very affluent position because I thought others are going to do the same. Neither did they do that, and neither did they basically second that, and neither do they have any constructive thing to say in practical terms, because it doesn't work, Sid. And
Well,
that's
of
a
course,
problem.
it doesn't work.
See, so when I listening to somebody and showing respect because they're friend or just even as a human being doesn't mean I agree with them. I do not understand that. No, it's not about understanding. I see a huge flaw in that. What I would like to say is UK is a very good example, right? When September 11th happened, right, at that time we were all very young, right? Some must have been in their 20s. I'm talking about generally, some might have been in their teenage, right? But at the same time, that was a time when a lot of Muslims in the UK, Europe, and particularly in the West realized there's no representation. We're not part of the game, right? That's when specifically in the UK is ahead in those terms. We basically realized, and people basically went into different sectors, the police, the political parties, the entire system. And if we are part of a country, then Muslims as a whole kind of realize that we need to participate in a productive way, and we need to look out for interests of our community. And you see rebuttals today in those regards, where it's only a segment of the Muslim society, in particular in the UK, who now supports this kind of bullshit like Taliban and ISIS and that extremism. If you look at the overall structure, you've got some huge names. Some people might like them, some people might not like them. But Sadiq Khan is a prime example. Saida Warsi is a prime example. You had Tariq Ghafoor, who was the head of police. All those things. And these people are going to be remembered as pioneers of putting up their own fight and representing their own community to an extreme extent, while being productive in the mainstream society at the same time. They're not at fight with the mainstream society. They showed that there is a way to get your point across, show your interests regardless of political backgrounds, and be an active, integrated member of these societies. And
How
they've
did
done
you
well.
assume, or and actually, I don't know if you assumed, but why did you take the trajectory of this discussion to where
Because
it would
when
seem, just a second, let me complete my sentence, where
yeah.
it would seem like I am commandeering or speaking in support of, uh, removing ourselves from the system,
So
because
when
I
you,
don't think that I
I'll
said
tell you,
anything that
no, I'll tell
sounded
you
like
why
that.
that was brought up. I'll tell you why that was brought up. Because things like anarchism, things like communism, things like socialism, or things like wanting the Khilafah in the UK or anywhere else, for example, Hizb ut-Tahrir and all these people, right? These are ideologies and systems which take you away from the system. And you mentioned a few of them. And there used to be a huge proportion of Muslims in the late 90s, early 2000s within these countries who basically adhered to these ideologies, right? There still are a minority of people, but I'm
Shaji,
really
I
glad.
also
Let me
mentioned.
complete. Let me complete. So when you said I understand where these people are coming from, I don't agree with them. I think at the end of the day, it's a great relief that majority of Muslims, specifically residing in the West, did not buy into these ideologies, and there were people who did not want to vote. Hizb Tahrir used to tell us that voting is haram, said, right? Getting a job or getting a grant or getting a scholarship at a university is haram, right? And the same and that impacted a lot of youngsters, especially those people who are below the age of 30 today, and basically above the age of say 25, 26. They were all impacted in that age bracket. There's many people who quit their jobs. There are many people who did not flourish or get educated, who had great potential because they got into wrong ideologies, which took them away from the system. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand. And I also understand that if, since you brought all of that up, because I mentioned it, I also mentioned One Piece, and you could have talked about how these Japanese cartoons are talking about the government being involved directly in trying to make the lives of the general people intentionally bad. But that didn't happen, because that was not my point. The and you one
Look,
thing
look,
that would have
you
been a
for some
part of
reason,
one thing.
you for some reason either do not bring irrelevant stuff if that's not your point, or try to explain why you're bringing something on. You gave me the impression that Mujahid Ali and all these anarchists and socialists, I understand their decentralized system as if I adhere to them, or I'm okay, or I
I
understand where
don't
they're
think
coming
that
from.
I don't
I'm
think that
really
I
sorry if Mujahid
implied
is
that.
listening, but Mujahid, I'll be very clear. If this is the notion which people are getting, I'm going to be very direct. I don't buy into your ideology. I do not think that it's workable. I completely condemn it in every way or form in terms of productivity. And I want to be on record. If Sid thinks that, many other people might be thinking that.
I
And
did
I think it's a
not.
huge waste of time.
Dude, first of all, no, I did not. And I don't think that I even came across, uh, my words came across as such that
Why
I'm
did you
saying
bring
that you
him up?
do.
Please explain.
Because
So,
you answered this question yourself, because you yourself said that maybe you think
No, why
that
did
I
you bring
understand
Zahid
their
and
argument.
Marxism in the
okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second. What Sid is trying to say is, and where he picked things up from, is that there is a conspiracy going on in this world, and he's calling it a Jewish conspiracy, in which Jews are planning to hold on to all the financial resources of the world, information flow in and out of the world, education system, banking system. He's trying to say that. And that's what been systematically promoted by the Brotherhood, this ideology. Where it comes from, this thought, it comes from Muslim Brotherhood. And they even go to the point where they say Ale Yahud is Ale Saud, Ale Yahud, because and they do this kind of simplification and propaganda. But if you try to build the correlations of how the banking systems they work, how the education system it works, then you would see that there is something more than Jewish to it. You may call it an effort to consolidate or concentrate or unify or make it into a global system, or um, sort of you know supply and demand change, a process of unification. But I think this is no more a Jewish um, um, project than it is a Muslim project or a Chinese project or a Christian project. And there are so many decentralized um, mm, circles within the circles that, and sometimes these smaller communities, they do this because they really want to project their power more than they really are they do possess, because they are small communities, right? So they really want the Indian to believe. Otherwise, why would India be in an alliance with a small country like Israel?
because they are
Somebody,
useful. They give
because
us, I mean, we trade with them in defense technology and all this stuff.
yeah.
The same
So
reason
the
we are also good in good relationship with UAE because we get the oil and all the stuff and our people work there. It's all about
yeah,
transaction. It's nothing.
true.
It's nothing to do with the ideological commitment
Yes,
or allyship.
yes. So, but the thing is that the Jews, these Jews, Israeli Jews, because they are so small, yeah. So they do rely on these propaganda too. They do, and um, there is an APAC which America uses to project their long arm. Yeah, there's a lobby that Americans themselves have, because there is a guy who is, mm, uh, I think, a Brotherhood guy. I would take his opinion with a pinch of salt. His name is Abdullah. He's a Jordanian. If you listen to him, he talks about that. He said that even Saudis believe in that in the 70s or 80s, that there is a Jewish lobby, and that perhaps we should copy it and perhaps throw a lot of money and in the buy out the American opinion makers and all of that, and then started to work on this. But what they found out was that many of the equipment even though they lobbied it very well in the US, were not given to them. Many of the machines were not offered to Saudis. Yeah. So then they found out and they wrote about it in the time of Shah Fahd and Malik Abdullah that it is not as simple as that. Because American policy making, the policy making of empire, works to blame it on a scapegoat while they can still be able to launch their imperialism in the world through their hard and short and long arms. Yeah, hard and soft way. And it is very easy to scapegoat the state of Israel and Jewish lobby. Yeah, it is not, and if APEC has that power, it is the American intelligence communities who have given them that power, and it serves them very well because everybody blames the Jews and nobody blames US. Yeah. Now, even now today, I mean, if the state of Israel was so intelligent, it was in its direct interest to normalize the relationship with its neighbors, but it has not done so. Sometimes,
Why
even
would
at the
it be in
cost,
their interest?
sometimes even at the cost of its own power. I mean, sometimes I can give you so many examples. For example, you would see in time, in a short time to come, the war with Iran is not in the interest of Israel. Not at all.
Sumaya, can I stop you for a bit? I just want to ask you. I mean, Israel did normalize relationship with Egypt, right? They normalized relationship with Egypt and Jordan. I don't think it's that Israel like like asking for war with every Arab or Islamic country. I think it's also about the other countries who are not willing to have peace with Israel, right?
No,
You
but
know,
Israel,
just because
look at
we
this.
are not doing our job,
Look at this.
we all assume
When
that they are not doing theirs.
just let me say one thing. Look at how they normalize with Egypt after being defeated in Sinai, after taking Sinai taken away from them. This is how they normalize with Egypt. Before that, they were not willing to normalize with Egypt. So
I
they
mean, like,
understand.
what was the the Egyptian president got killed because he wanted to normalize relationship with Israel,
Yeah.
right? That
So
was
he got
before.
killed. It means somebody get him killed because he wanted to normalize, and that was in the interest of Israel. But he was not allowed to do that. So who killed him? An Israeli prime minister was killed because he wanted to normalize with his neighbors, with the Palestinians, and he wanted to accept the Camp David and other things. So he was killed. He was taken out. Now, who did it? So
No,
these
I
are the
just want to.
questions.
I no, like I just want to, say that it's not completely uh, um justifiable to say that Israel never want to normalize relationship with its neighbors. I think they have been a bit more, reasonable, realistic.
Yeah, they were in the past, but few things happened, and those are very important historical events we shouldn't forget. Yeah, and those were the events that led Israel into this quagmire that Israel is in. Now, what is taking place is very dangerous for Israel. It may be very less dangerous for other. Now, people are saying that it's very dangerous for Gulf and for the entire world. To be honest, Gulf can still survive using its resources within Gulf, within each other, or with just the with the people who just neighbor it. So it doesn't have to use Hormuz. But Israel is it's really in a very tight position. Why? Because Americans wanted to have a war with Iran. And there are reasons because the Americans want to delay the rise of China. So for them, it was, they can only delay the economic rise of China. It was a very delicate um, period of time in which they had to do it. Yeah. And they cannot, they do not want to have that war in South China Sea, the Malacca, yeah, to block China from Malacca. So they have chosen to do this with Iran. Yeah, knowing that Iran has a policy, it will block Hormuz. Because why the Venezuela thing happened before Iran thing? Because now Trump is openly saying that I don't need the oil, so why should I open Hormuz? It means he wanted Hormuz to be closed because he wants to punish many regions with it, a number, including Europeans, yeah, including Europeans. Number two is the Chinese, or maybe the equally Chinese and Europeans. Yeah, of course Chinese and Europeans. And why that? Because he has seen that if I would, of course, the fall of American empire will happen in time. He knows that he's a nationalist leader, and the nationalist lobby in U.S. understands that. So before that happens, he wants to get a very good deal for U.S. The American establishment, because the globalists are on the back foot because globalization, due to rise of China, is not working anymore for U.S. And once China has risen, Israel will already be expandable because China does not need an Israel. It was a Pax Britannica and Pax Americana's need. Yeah, the long run. China does not need that. So eventually, Israel will fall into oblivion. It will not be a state playing the role that it plays because the power, economic power of the world will not be needing Israel anymore. So America already knows that Israel will become expendable. So it does not care how many white Jews die there for serving the nationalist purpose of the US. So it has thrown it into a war that is not for the benefit of Israel. Similarly, India is thrown into imagining a war with its neighbor, particularly i.e. Pakistan,
No,
imagining it,
no, I
which is not
disagree.
in favor of India.
Okay, I agree with you that Israel is US puppet, but when it comes to India and Pakistan, it's actually the Pakistan which is the US puppet, not India. India has the same kind of anti-colonial mentality it inherited from the time of Nehru. It's still continuing with this legacy.
I
It's
agree
actually
with you.
Pakistan which is
Time Nehru,
US puppet.
I agree with the Nehru thing statement. I do agree. He was a pioneer in making the in construct of non-aligned movement. He was one of the pioneers in founding that. But it's no more true after, say, America being in Afghanistan. Yes, and particularly post 2008, and particularly after the Obama regime. It is no more true. Uh, India is very squarely in American camp, and it will not help India.
So that's why we
Like
got the
it will not
50
help
percentage
India.
tariff.
Oh, that is Trump's way. Yeah, because if you got 50% of tariff, that is better than Israel getting a big war that Israel may not survive.
No, like it's not about Israel and India, it's about Israel and Pakistan. I mean, I'm just trying to understand who's the puppet of
No,
USA in
I'm
this
not saying India is
subcontinent.
a puppet. India being in, like, this is a rubbish language that people use. Nobody's a puppet, right? Even Israel is not a puppet. What I'm trying to say, Israel, a very small state, not like Pakistan, not like India. They can have very little leverage of their own. Yeah. And we sometimes, this little scare states have this scare policy, but they know, Israel also knows that after the rise of China, this won't be possible. Even now, Victor Goff, you listen to his interview, he openly threatened Israel that if Israel even thinks, he said, I'm quote unquote, if, and I love those words, he said, even if Israel thinks of using nuclear weapons against Iran, I'm openly saying that, he said, quote unquote, not mincing my words, that Israel will not exist.
So that's a some kind of side point. I think China will not do anything. The best they can do, best they will do is like I don't know, may have some kind of sanctions against Israel if something like that happened. But I don't think China is willing to
So what I mean to say
involve
is
themselves.
that, what I mean to say is
No,
that
I no, I
in,
don't think that China will directly involve themselves into any kind of
they don't need to. They don't need to.
strikes.
They don't need to. They don't need to at this point. And I'm just trying to say that whoever is in the camp, and I'm not saying puppet, it's a very stupid way of, like, if India is siding with US, it might have thought about some gays, like you said, if you are or you want to be in Israel, it doesn't mean you are puppet. How can you be a puppet? You are much bigger country than Israel. So people should have some shame of calling each other puppets. I mean, these are alignments, right?
No, no,
If
no,
Pakistan
no, no, no.
is
That
aligned with
this is not
China,
my point
Pakistan
actually.
is not
Okay,
China's
okay.
puppet.
Ignore that I said puppet. Just answer me. Who is more aligned to USA in the subcontinent? Is it India or Pakistan?
At the moment, Pakistan has a very balanced policy because Pakistan is with China. It is very, because 80% or 80 to 85% of Pakistan's military procurement comes from China. So that naturally gives
But
China.
who is more willing to listen to USA in the subcontinent?
What are the reasons for Pakistan to listen to you? I tell you, there were reasons. Because in Afghan, during first Afghan war, US was supporting Pakistan heavily, and it was very good alliance. In second Afghan war, during the second Afghan war, Pakistan was a non-NATO ally of US because Pakistan chose that path, different to Iran. We have debated it. Uh, and then after that was over, we had a very sus kind of very, very dull relationship with US until the war with India happened. Yeah, last year. And then US tried to woo us back. But it can only do to a certain amount. Why? Because since the first and second Afghan wars, we have clearly uh, allied military wise with China. Clearly, without any doubt.
No, not
Now,
really. No, no, no. In
exactly,
what way?
really,
Look, I mean,
we have we
China
have
you
even intraoperability with China as far as Kashmir is and Tibet is concerned.
not
Do
really. I don't
you
know
understand the
what do you
meaning
mean
of interoperability?
interoperability? China never helped you directly whenever you had conflict with India.
China didn't help us. They are giving us 80% of our military procurement.
Yeah, that is to annoy India, but they are not hand in hand with all the attacks you do.
That's not China's way. China doesn't work like US. You
Yeah,
need to
that's what I
understand
said. That's what I
where
said.
their neighbors.
China is also not going to nuke Israel or give nukes to some other players.
No, they
Uh,
will not give nukes. But Victor Gao is. Have you heard Victor Gao? He's a very
I know
experienced
Victor Gao.
academician. and he works in a very big circle in China. He has literally come out and threatened Israel not to use nukes against Iran. What does that mean? That means that China has taken a side, clear side. And China, when this war happened, when Israel and US attacked, came out, their foreign office said, we will back we will protect, the willing to protect the territorial integrity of Iran. What does that mean? These are the same words when India attacked Pakistan, China said. Exactly the
That,
same
that
words.
that 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 actually doesn't really mean anything. I mean, no, like a USA or a Israel is not willing. It's not like trying to, gobble up territory in Iran. They just want to, change the government. If China is really that serious, it will send. So one example. I tell you one example how it's so different from when India had. Uh, some kind of military pact with the Soviet Union. So when this 1971 war happened, the Soviet Union actually sent the nuclear submarines to India, to the Bay of Bengal. So that's the kind of support you have to give to Iran in this kind of a crisis, uh, to actually let the Americans back off. If it's not that, then it's just words and nothing else. I can also say
But,
that I respect,
Chinese
Iran's.
don't work. Chinese
Everyone
don't
can
work.
say
They don't work like US or USSR. Their way of working is totally, completely different.
no. They
They
are
do not
look by
make
this by that
allow,
standard.
except
If
Pakistan. Pakistan is the only exception with which China says that in the north of Pakistan, if any war happens, there will be an interoperability, and that is just in that region. If India, let's suppose, attacks the Azad Kashmir region or
no,
Tibet, there
forget
will
about
be
India
an
and Pakistan.
interoperability in that region.
No, Sumaya, for a minute, forget about India and Pakistan. If you say that China is a big player, and China is an ally of Iran, they should be doing something more than what they are doing right now. Do you agree or not?
I don't agree because I don't think that China, the kind of people they are, will do things firstly overtly. Yeah, they say very little and it means a lot. And secondly, China does support, but with uh, plausible deniability. You know, they may support to a third party. Why do you think Pakistan recently opened its border just 2, 3 days ago to let all the um, in stocks inside Iran through Pakistan? There was a special order by our government, some 3, 4, if you have kept the news on what's happening there. Yeah. So everything is going by road through Pakistan to Iran. All the inflows, I mean the imports. Do you get that?
So I really don't. So I just want to say that
Okay, hey guys, we're going to go towards closing. So, I mean, you can give your last statements.
yeah, like I just conclude that China is not really like a global player when it comes to war and geopolitics. They are not as strong as USA, even now, with all their economic importance and their manufacturing mightiness. They just want to stay in the sidelines. But it might change in the future, but they are not at there right now. That is my closing statement.
Thank you, Sumaya. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, yeah. I agree that China at the moment is not. That's why US has taken this opportunity, and the time to attack Iran. The right that the window that we were talking about. And Chinese also under. And by the way, Trump is due in China. Sometimes when he finishes this war, then he will. probably have a meeting with Xi Jinping. So probably, a lot is going on in the backdrop. But I do agree at the moment China doesn't want to show its hand. It wants to remain hidden. That's all I want to say. But China is a big economic power. Even now, they are. Thank
Oh, I would expand on that, also a strategic power, but I think we should one day have a conversation about China in particular. Thanks a lot, Sid. Sid, are you alive?
Sid died.
Sid, Sid, Sid has been abducted
Yeah, I
by.
guess he has nothing to say.
Yeah.
I'm going to go towards closing. I think the war did not turn out like Donald Trump expected. He thought it was going to be easy peasy, like what happened in Venezuela, but apparently it was not easy. So, thank you for listening in, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow with most probably the same topic but different discussion. Do subscribe our channel. Till then, have a good day, good evening, and good
you.
night.
Easter.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you.
Shall close the live.
You didn't wish people happy Easter. What kind of?
Oh, sorry. Happy Easter, everyone. I,
You're following Prince Charles, King Charles? No, but there we
actually,
go.
I had no idea today was Easter, so not my fault. Happy Easter, everyone, whoever is celebrating.
Okay.
Bye.